I think
Am I going to put off this
I
week
think
because
no,
of this?
no, we're good. We're good. We're back. It's a generic Discord issue. It won't happen. It won't be fixed until
Discord fixes it?
well, until OBS fixes it, which will probably be OBS version 2030 because we're on 29. Anyway, hello everybody, we are back. Sorry about that. There's a technical difficulty, but we should be back and we can continue with that scene now.
Yeah. I suppose that's the best lead that we have going anywhere at the moment.
Soul's just munching on a cookie and Soul has one offered out to Breton.
I guess I'll take it and try it.
Tastes like hugs, I guess. I can commune with Brayla now.
All right.
That's where I learned.
Breton's just gonna nod.
You sound disbelieving.
No, I don't.
Okay. You should go back to her room.
Right.
Okay. So, is there anything else anyone would like to handle on the journey to Benumdum? Or is a group conversation required upon discoveries, etc.? Okay then. Zep, please give me a travel roll, please.
Sure.
Just give me one of your lovely flight checks. I think you've already done one, but also roll me a d10 afterwards.
Cool. One flight check. And I will definitely be boosting that, so 22. And that is a 8 on the d10.
You actually cover much the same path you did previously on your journey, and as you begin to hit the Great Forest, a couple of days pass, you actually fly directly over the previous forest fire site, which has since died down and burnt back, and there is now this big crevice of open tree coverage where the trees are just now cinders. And you can see that there's a definite path that rips in the direction that this Ortranarch of Flame passed through the forest. And actually, you now see where the fire originated. There is a crevasse in the ground. A hole that has like roots, burnt, charred, large roots, like tipping into the side, and then just a hole.
Siraj, you have a thing for portals, right? Can you tell if that hole right there is one?
Are we over a mile above it, like in terms of height?
I mean, we can descend so that you can sense it if you wish.
Yes, if we think it should not be too dangerous. Before I do that, though, can I just look through it with a spyglass and do like a nature or perception or something, like to figure out what
you can orient the ship and use the spyglass, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to see if I can make out maybe what would have caused this, and if there's any dangers still lurking around, or if it's safe for the ship to kind of descend within my range.
Are you trying to look at what caused the hole, or what caused the tree? Like, what caused what?
I'm trying to see, like, basically, if whatever caused either of those things is still there, or if it's safe for us to, like, descend a little bit within a mile of the portal so that I can detect the portal before we just go rocketing down there. I kind of want to, like, you know, vibe check the surrounding area.
Okay, no problem. Go for it, roll
Sorry, I
perception.
rolled a 14.
Okay, 14. At advantage because you've got the spyglass.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nope, 14's the best I got.
Okay.
Last time I looked in a spyglass, you know, I had like a little bit of like that, like, oop, probably look through this. My brains got melted last time.
Yep, fair enough. As you look down and you see this, the gap seems to be formed between what would have been two exceedingly large trees, like trees the size of which you could probably fit a small town on the canopy of. Because what you see left are the roots, and the roots for it, like peering into these each side of the hole, are just probably the size of the deck of the ship, kind of thing, like that remain. And there's all other sorts of areas. You also see a small, like, tented encampment on the edge of the hole, with a number of individuals walking around it. But the hole itself seems to be dormant. It just looks like a cindered crack in the ground.
And the people that I see walking around the encampment, they're what type of species? This, like, humans, gnomes?
It's a majority humble folk.
Okay.
So, strigs. There's a couple of. There's a Vulpine, Mac Patch.
I will share my findings with Zep and say, you know, do we think that it is safe to go down within a relative distance to this hole, or should we steer clear?
In the interests of learning a bit more, I would say that we should probably descend. It doesn't look like the fires are still burning.
Well, we can descend, and then I will do my detect portal.
Okay.
I'm trying to link it in the chat.
Yeah.
But
whilst that you don't detect a portal, there are definite signs that there might have been one. There's like a lingering vibration in the air that, you know, in the same way that if something rotten was left in a room, and even if it wasn't in the room anymore, there's still some, like, lingering sense that it was in the room if it's bad enough. There's still that. There's kind of a lingering sense of planar activity. Put it that way.
It stinks.
yeah, something definitely used up. Do I know how old it would be?
We were here
Like-
recently.
Probably about a week and a half at this point. 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we were here recently.
Yes, something did create a portal here within the last week or two. But this is all I know. And I see those people at the crater's edge.
They're probably the same people that we dealt with last time we came through. This is apparently a relatively common occurrence.
Do we go down and see if they are okay?
They seemed pretty undisturbed by it the last time when we passed.
Yeah, I was just trying to maybe see if there was a portal, like, would explain quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like the portals come and go.
Honestly, that's a bit more worrisome than just there being an portal. They could just pop up at any place.
Again, I think it's occurrence here more than anything else, Valmir.
In this specific spot, you mean? Or I thought it was just in the area.
Well, that's what I mean. In Benumdum, it's the folk we were here last time. So this happens frequently, and I am no master of planar mechanics, but that does lead me to suspect that there might be closeness to the elemental plane of fire here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not really my cup of tea, and we don't have to worry about planes of the elements, right? Or do now?
As long as I'm here, yeah.
What?
It's a very long story. It's more of a Ruby thing, but yes.
Sorry, question for Beth. Are you Ruby or Soul now? Right,
Soul.
in this instance. Right now you're Soul, okay. Can you go there?
No, not right now.
You know,
My
I can go into another portal, but I can't go there.
There are spell works that could take me over there. I just don't have access to it right now. No, Zaraj, we'll use our soul is linked to an entity that is from there.
So in case you ever want to take us home and we can meet your folks, maybe, you know.
You know what? From my understanding, they're not really people. The people type.
Mm.
They're not people persons is not quite the correct nomenclature for elementals, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
They would not pass your vibe check.
Nor was my father. We all just met him.
And we killed rubies. So, you know.
Yeah, we don't have a good track record.
I think we have an excellent track record.
I'm actually grateful my parents are already dead, so you guys can't kill them.
You are staying well away from mine.
I was going to ask awkwardly of Darius, but you want us to prioritize going to meet your father or not doing that?
Rather just stay away from just that whole thing. It's just...
Soul gives a surprised but not really surprised face.
So,
Meet the folks and bury them.
In litigation.
There's no group bonding like digging a grave together.
I say we just leave these people to their own devices. I see no reason why we should go down there.
Nor do I.
Yeah, okay. It was just mere curiosity on my part.
We gather our party and venture forth.
okay, the skyship continues. You're probably about a day and a half now away from the capital of the Grand Duchy.
Oh, I guess I just discovered this the courtesy of a message I got from Midge. I now know where my teleportation circles go.
Yeah, you said you wanted to, over this transit, talk to the Iron Duke and discuss why he might get you access to, so...
Yeah, so I can get us to Reshin and the capital of Nardathel, Garvalu.
What business do we have there?
Nothing immediate. But the ship usually appears to be quite capable of handling itself without much interference from us for flights. So if we needed to go, say, have a conversation with the Living Saint, we could have the ship continue flying where we need it to go, and we can go do the thing and come back.
We can come back.
Yes? Once I finish the teleportation circle sequence, yes.
And how
Do you
long
need
is
any
that
help
going
with
to take?
this?
The sequence itself? Mostly a monetary cost is the big problem.
Eee.
And a time one.
And how long is it going to take?
Well, I can't cast the spell, so I
I
technically
don't know
can't
because the DM never gave me the
help.
We need to discuss it because it's not an instantaneous. You now have a portal here.
Would
It's
never
just-
expect that.
So the line that immediately comes up is that long, huh? Well,
It's
A
just
while.
not a. You need to do it every day for
it's not
300.
gonna be done tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not a. You need. It would be like. Instead of 365 days of constant work, it'll probably be like a month of constant work kind of thing.
Does it have to be, as I said before, we don't have to do it day to day. I can leave it there, come back and start it up. Yeah. So, if I focused on it entirely and we had all the monetary resources right now, about a month.
Ooh.
And I
Good.
believe it would be expensive, but not extremely expensive. It would allow us to return to the Skyfire whenever.
That is useful.
And also, if we needed visitors who could activate the arcane sequence, they could also arrive here whenever.
Is there any kind of security liability with that?
Well, a little bit, but that's what we have security on the ship for.
Could Ruby put up a firewall?
You're on a wooden ship.
Yeah.
I got it. It's okay. I got it.
Thank you.
Darius just looks confused. I don't get that one. What's a firewall?
Breton shudders and
people
PTSD.
People coming through the portal just have to pass through fire or something. I don't. It's,
They have to know the sequence.
okay, so we need to be very careful about who we give that information to. Then.
Yes.
Don't give it to me, please.
I don't think that was going to be an issue.
I mean, I can't cast that spell, so I don't need it.
Well,
Is
it's
there
not
any
just that,
concern of somebody scrying upon the ship being able to learn that sequence?
Oh, crap! I just remembered something. Zep, you can detect magic, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Take a look at this bag, and anything inside of it. Is there magic on any of those items, or latent touching of magic on any of those items? And what you see when you look in there
I
is
start
just both-
fiddling with the knobs of my detect magic device for 10 minutes as I ritually cast detect magic.
As far as security measures go, that's what the ship security is for. There are spells that can, but much like the arcane sequence themselves, they take a considerable amount of time and effort to put that much money into. Also, I don't know the spell. We would be better off hiring an actual abjurist for that one.
Yeah, and in that bag, by the way, is just all sigils and clasps and everything that's like personalized for both Darius and Claudia, their family ones. As somebody decided to give Darius just massive amounts of anxiety by mentioning that they could be being scryed on, so GM.
So you cast detect magic on the bag, and there is a sense of
Bridge. So
on one of Claudia's items, there seems to be a sense of trying to remember the school of magic that scrying is from. Divination magic on it. Yes.
Damn it, Claudia.
well, that's not her fault.
I mean, just to be devil's advocate, I'm pretty sure if they wanted to scry on you, they could just scry on you as a person.
But wouldn't I know that was a thing?
Not necessarily.
If they
Can
know an
I
item
use-
of yours, they could scry on the item.
Can I use Arcana to see if I can determine what spell it is?
An item can't resist being scryed. A person can.
Yeah, that's.
Technically, you shed and get new skin
I will
cells
let
every
you
7
do-
years, and you're a new person every 7
damn it.
years.
I will let you do a artificer lore check to see if you can work out the type of spell.
I'd say that would
Okey-dokey.
just be a human thing, but Darius is human as far as we know, so that would be fine.
22. I'll increase it to 27.
22.
Sure. It seems to be like a modified version of the locate object spell.
This is a specialized version of locate object.
I mean,
Customized some way.
Which
when somebody already knows where it is.
Which connects the object to a like a crystal ball or mirror, and essentially can be used as a compass point towards that object.
God damn it.
Do you want me to toss it in the ether?
I could just sever the connection.
Oh.
Both of those are good options, but they would also indicate that we know about it.
Drop it off the side of the ship.
And just
We could just leave it. We could leave it in Benumdum.
Why
Not
do
going
we
to be
not
there very
just...
long.
Yeah,
Why-
we could leave it there.
Give it to one of the professors, so it's always on the move.
I think we should maybe capture a bird and then put it on the bird.
I
That's
like
a
that.
genius idea. That's a genius
It's a
idea.
very good one.
Claudia seems to be migrating south early this winter.
Just been a straight
They're
shot.
really
It's
making
almost like an
good time.
albatross.
Are
Just
there any birds nearby?
It's a
Can I
giant
fish for a
forest.
bird?
Says if one flies within 60 feet, I'm going to cast command on it.
Has to know language, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. have
Not
simple-
for
Roll me a
Yeah,
luck
for
check
Fran.
quickly.
Oh,
'Cause
never
you
mind,
are-
it's not
You
gonna
just
work.
find an eagle who knows English.
Oh, 19.
But this is the thing. You're in the magical forest where there are bird animals that speak. So, Valmir,
You know what? I think this is important. We should definitely just take a day and land and make this our new
Valmir,
priority.
to your west, for what you see 3 giant eagles, flying.
Oh,
Just
so
carrying a
they're
couple of
really
halflings.
far away, and I thought they were closer. That's why I thought they were small and closer.
Objects
Closer than they appear.
Command only goes 60 feet. Just
I know.
okay.
Well, this is funny. Let's just. I want to know.
Would
about
you like
this.
to hail
Chase those
down
birds.
But
If
Yeah,
it's
Captain, I got it.
let's just wait for.
If it speaks common, we can negotiate. They like shiny trinkets, right? They're like crows, right? They're the same. Look, they're the. I'm going off
trying to
pure
resist
assumption. here.
derailment right now. I'm trying to help.
I'm
you,
going
Midge.
to assume that they're fairly intelligent creatures.
See.
They're regal.
As
majestic.
you change course of the skyship, you pull towards the giant eagles, who kind of begin circling in pattern before approaching the ship.
So
Zep, what are you telling the people who are driving the skyship? Like, go get that bird.
Someone's going to have to
Catch the
explain that.
pigeon, catch the pigeon.
Brendan's
pull us
just going to be
alongside
like,
that eagle formation.
and he's just going to start making his way up from the command deck to the deck of the ship.
I was just gonna leave it on a bench somewhere and just leave it. But no,
Right,
no.
well, this is
No, we must do this properly.
Okay. The
I will also go up onto the deck. They
Top
may
deck?
speak Gnomish.
yeah.
Yeah, you see
a trinket.
It's just sitting up there. It's going to be like, hello?
Hello,
We
my friends.
communicate with
Hello?
you.
They're next to, like, sort of trying to keep speed with the ship.
Marcus, slow it down a little.
We're now the formation lead.
They don't
Leave us now.
Eagles don't hover is the problem. So they're trying to match pace.
Updraft. It's fine.
Invite them to land on our deck.
Get the deck crew up here. Let's get them. Let's guide them in. Land.
Yeah, if you wish to land here, we may have a trade to do with you.
Are
I'll say in
you
Gnomish.
are you are you
I'm
just saying this, or are you
thaumaturging
okay, you're thaumaturging, yeah, let's go.
So,
Hello, my friends. Are you able to
Really some large
understand
eagles.
my speech?
Hello, my name is Reginald. Whomst am I speaking with?
It is a pleasure to meet your acquaintance, Reginald. I am Zep Skyspan of the Skyfire Adventuring Company, and this is our ship.
Oh, I'm Reginald. This is Douglas. and this one here is Marshall.
I'm just trying to get over these names.
Reginald, Douglas, Marshall, a pleasure.
What do you think they were just going to be called Swiftwing or something like that?
These are
Swiftwing, Talent Claw.
our names were given to us upon by a gnomish friend of ours.
Ah, good gnomish names too.
Strong roots and gnomish.
Slightly different from Ledoran's land, but local to here,
Proper
I'm
English
sure.
names.
Yeah.
So a friend of ours recently discovered that he was being tracked through magical means, and we would like to throw those pursuers off. And we were wondering if perhaps you would like to give them a bit of a wing around, as it were.
Throw me a persuasion check.
That is a natural 20 for 25.
Let's go.
You see the bird turn to the others.
So stupid.
What language are they speaking in, by the way? Are they speaking in...
Giant eagle.
Okay, so an eagle is a language. It's like, if they're speaking Orin, I do speak Orin.
No, these ones are speaking giant eagle currently. But if you use Orin, they would actually understand it. Orin, Sylvan, Gnomish, you'd be covered here.
Well read.
Welcome to
The
Benumnum.
name like
Everyone-
Reginald, I would assume they'd be well read.
Anything else is just disappointing, but also slightly alcoholic.
Reginald can speak Gnomish. Doug can write it, and
His calligraphy is actually
Marcus can act it out.
made his own quill and
It's
everything.
just drags the talon. Very fine print.
So he holds a quill in his beak.
Dips a talon in the ink.
This is, of course, a trade, as promised. I will open our stores down below to whatever you wish to take from it.
Fish, he wants fish. I bow humbly.
Damn it, Siraj, you can't say that.
Yeah, Soul's going, excuse me?
Well, I just...
Hmm.
Sirs, good
Speaking about
sirs, would you
yourself.
like fish?
Be like me going up to you and saying, do you want tuna?
I would love tuna.
God damn it.
Contributions to
the can right
stereotypes aren't tax deductible, but Soul will give Siraj a can of tuna.
No need. We love anything to do to protect one who seems to be of good nature. Give it here.
Hand it over, take it out of the bag, and pass it over.
Oh, which way are you flying? We'll try to go. We'll try not to linger.
Well,
Don't go
We'll be going
direct. Don't
southwards.
go 180. Like do like a 40-degree arc or something like that. Just make it
just-
look like a course correction.
Feel
maintain
free
your
to just
usual
find your
flight
own.
patterns.
Just go where you normally go, yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
actually have a favor I was going to ask. I'm really afraid of flying, and I was wondering if one of you guys would give me a ride so that I can overcome my fears. I think part of my fear of flying is being on this big hunk of thing in wood in the sky. Maybe if I was doing a more natural flight, it would be very cool. I will pay you in just
It's gonna end poorly.
I have.
Give me a persuasion check, Zaraj. And then
Okay.
It's like somebody saying, "I'm afraid of heights, so I don't go on to. I don't want to go on to a 747. Put me in this puddle jumper, and I'll get over it."
you see Reginald take the object and then pass it into their beak instead of their claw. And then yeah, what did you roll?
18.
Are you here?
Is he letting me hop on?
He then takes the thing back out of his mouth, puts it down. You can climb on Doug for a little while. He'll circle back and then meet us later.
All right.
Before they leave, I'm going to go up and say, Cam, thank you very much. This is very much appreciated. Blessings of Bahamut upon you, and I'm going to cast Bless on the 3 giant eagles.
Okay. Thank you. It's not quite our god, but whatever.
I'm getting used to this. This is all new to me.
Yeah, Reginald flies off, Marshall flies off, and then Doug kind of like gets ready, perched at the side of the ship, and allows you to climb on.
I'm on. I'm as snug as a Doug in a rug.
Breton just leans over to the nearest person, whoever it is, and just whispers, "Do we have something that we can catch her with, just in case?"
I have a potion of falling, potion of feather fall.
Oh no. Okay.
Yep, this is why I
So I'm gonna need a dexterity saving throw from Zedaar. As
It's gonna make
Doug,
it just worse.
And I got rid of fly spell. That's unfortunate.
as
I should have cast bless on you as well.
as Doug takes
19.
Doug takes off and then gets about probably 20 feet from the ship and instantly goes into a barrel spin. And starts flying upside down and swoops underneath the ship.
Doug, how could you do this to me?
But you start to go, oh no, and then suddenly you're just like grabbing on and you hear, ah!
Good one, Doug. Please never do that again.
Yeah, Doug doesn't speak your language, so this is going to be very interesting. But after that,
I'm going to be watching this going, yes, excellent, well done, well done.
yeah, this is like Zedaar has gone from being what's it called, like scared, nervous passenger on a ship to now even scared a passenger in the back seat of a fighter jet. Like,
So what you're saying is she's passed out. Wait, I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
I was gonna get to that because I now need a Constitution saving throw from Zedaar as she begins to pull G's.
Tense your legs! Tense your legs!
19.
It's
My
like
favorite
he whips
terrain is
round
pulling
19.
Gs.
You're fine. You're shaking like the air, like there's bugs and everything, but like you are like
My whiskers.
it's just like you are just fur being blown back as this eagle starts now, like you see it dip towards the tree cover and now starts between trees. The rest of you, no sign of Zedaar anymore since the giant eagle has now dipped below the tree cover and is now like, and then you see probably about 500 feet away, just like break from the tree cover, like that anime sun glare behind it, like bits of leaves like in slow motion off of it, as Doug the eagle now like shoots up and then curves back towards the ship and drops Zedaar off.
It was amazing.
The hell?
Thank you, Doug. I love you, Doug. I give him the what is it called? The fishing tackle that I have because it's shiny. This will help you get fish.
He sort of moves his leg and you see like a little pouch like bag strapped to his lower talon and kind of points with his with his like end of his feather just and just he then takes off and flies away.
Wow, that was cool.
I am genuinely jealous of you right now.
The aerodynamics on that thing, the wind, the way that the wind, you know, I'm telling you, we should be studying about it. It would help the ship design, you know?
Zep's already got a notebook out and he's writing everything you're saying.
Yeah, you should get a brush.
No time, no time. Keep speaking,
just like...
I must get this information while it is fresh.
Oh.
Cool. That was a...
That worked out better than it had any right to, possibly. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Well.
So we were talking about something else important.
Onward to Badum-Dum.
You continue on. About a day later, and one night during your travels, Darius, I'm going to need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Cool.
Oh no, baby girl, what is you doing?
24.
You managed to stave off most of the feelings, but you do find yourself one night just jolting awake, puddle of sweat. Similar visions that you had before. This time not as deep. No, not as in depth, more singular pictures rather than that sort of bodily experience you had before of a large battle. Looked very Rhiannian. But you woke again right as the large, black, shadowy individual that you saw in the dream before plunged its sword into you. It's almost like you got the stop motion version this time.
Gumby.
Sword B.
Okay. I think Darius just doesn't go to sleep after that. Probably just goes onto the deck.
Mm-hmm. Begins like rampantly training. Or
no, I think he starts pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Like just aimlessly pacing, kind of in like a back and forth kind of motion, like very semi-nervously, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's quite late at night, but obviously there are every now and then watches that passes by on the ship when gosh, I need to dive into some handouts. Give me a moment. I'm trying to remember your crew names. It's been a while.
You could just say any name and we'd agree that was probably one of them.
Yeah, but I think it's Faston, right? The first mate, Faston.
The Minotaur is Faston, yes.
Yes. When Faston sort of approaches, is everything okay, Sir Reynard?
Yes, everything's fine. Just a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm. You win. There's always something like sort of kind of calming about Faston. That individual that even like in all situations is calm. Like you've seen them in like the various storms, etc., that have hit the ship, or various attacks that have hit the ship, and they're always that kind of slightly above neutral, happy state, like and kind of calm in all of those situations. The individual then just I know you do not like to be touched, but whatever it is that's bothering you, it'll be okay.
Fine.
And they give you a D10 Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
Well, it might do anything, but
I'll keep that in mind. Oh, no, I'm good. Just got back from a big thing, big mission. So.
Would you like some cocoa?
Yes, actually, that sounds lovely.
He's got like this sort of long coat that almost looks carpet-like. Like it's kind of like very rustic, and he goes in and there's a bottom pocket that's kind of close to the ground, and out of it he pulls a thermos and just.
He has pocket cocoa.
And he hands you.
I am assuming a mug as well to drink from.
Yeah. He just
okay.
Hands you the
cap. Thank you. Nice.
And he puts the thermos like on the side of the ship where you've been pacing. He's just let me know when you're done. And he goes back, and he now goes up to where the ship's wheel used to be. He leaves you alone.
Yeah, Darius just keeps pacing most of the night.
Sure.
And then probably like 30 minutes before he normally gets up, he kind of shakes it off, gives the thermos back, goes back to his room, gives it a 10 count, comes out of the room, and goes about his day as if nothing had happened. So nobody else knows anything went on. So now he goes starts his training. If you want to give me exhaustion, you can, because that was probably most of a night without sleep. But
I wouldn't say it's an exhaustion yet, but if you were to not take a good night's sleep the next night, you'd be really struggling. Mainly because also you already passed that Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
Anyway. Darius, you see it, but as the sun rises, just before you head back, it's also almost your cue to head back. You do see the capital of Benumdum appear on the horizon again. The familiar break in the trees, and the large cog-like walled city appears again.
Hear that damn music.
No, it's almost like you can hear the click-clack of the click-clacks on the cobblestone pavement. But everybody, you wake up the next day. It is the 7th of Winter Dawn. And you are back in the capital of Benumdum. The weather here has definitely dulled, and it's almost like when you reached Atria, everything got colder, but the weather didn't necessarily warm up as you progressed south. Almost like the seasons here are now starting to catch up with one another. You settle at the skyship dock. Is there anything you guys want to do in the city, or are you just dropping off your professors?
Zep and Zaraj, I believe, wanted to go shopping for some
specialist materials. Yes, you want to try and find some specialist materials. Okay.
I'll go with just keeping an ear out for information.
Sure.
Things kind of in the wider world.
No problem. Give me a quick investigation check on that.
So urban is my favored terrain. Do you want me to roll it? And
Sure.
What's your bonus?
+5, but I get advantage.
Cool. Yes.
9.
Oh. Well, you do it.
Sure.
These are your.
Well, you give
these
me
are your
advantage if you're
people.
assisting, so.
Yes, these are your people. You would know.
Correct. That is a natural 20.
Thank God. Yes, that's why we always let Zep roll.
Okay. Darius, quickly also give me another investigation check for just the rumoring side of things. But you start where a lot of the party previously left off, and you head towards the Boyar, the famed Boyar that you hit before, who, when you inquire, does, out of curiosity of what you want to build, point you towards where they get their supplier, and you head down a couple of back streets near the glass, like, shopping center, for lack of a better word, past the district where there's the large flower market. You come towards a timber yard, but the timber yard itself is made from trees, like the outer wall, and like the building itself is all built almost like in a tree house within the side, and you go through the gap in said trees where the entrance to the yard is, and there's a nice carved oaken sign which is Randella's Specialist Lumber. And you go in, and it's almost like a little grove within the city, where it seems the individuals are not only machining the lumber, but also growing it. And when you go in, you come across a wood elven individual. She's at a plane, and she's currently making up planks of what this looks to be this like white colored wood with the bark being like a silvered color. And they're currently planing it, and they've got like, you see they're in like a loose fitting and flowing like green olive shirt, but with like a brown leather apron that also kind of combines into like a almost like it's called like it's like a lower half is an apron, but the upper half is a corset kind of thing, like a leather corset, and then they've got leather gloves up to about their elbow as they work, and like they've got like flowy but wispy blue hair, which have just, and then there's just like goggles keeping their fringe off their face. It's almost like the goggles, whilst they probably should be wearing them whilst they're planing and soaring, no, it's actually it's better for them to keep the hair up with it, you know. It's kind of safer. And then they've also got like woad-like tattoos up there, where you can see in the gap between the shirt that's rolled all the way up and their large gloves, but also you can see it like up their neck and partially over their face. And they, once you guys enter, they kind of stop and turn to you, looks at you and speaks to you in Gnomish. How can I help you?
Yes, hello. I am a artisan myself, and we're looking to acquire some Feyheart wood so that I can make my comrade here a bow. A longbow, I believe, yes?
Yes, please.
Boy, yeah. Feyheart wood. I mean, you know of its dangers as well as its properties, I take it.
Yes, indeed. We have actually had encounters with Feyheart before in its more natural form, before it's been harvested.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I can offer, I do have some Feyheart wood, but it depends if you're looking for treated or not.
What would the difference be?
Well, treated will slowly scream at you. Non-treated will slowly scream at you until you put it out of its misery, and treated is fine and ready for use.
Yes, I'm more accustomed to working with metals, so I imagine treated is probably the better option here. It's a risk perhaps I shouldn't take just yet without proper knowledge.
I thought of a tree screaming at you is mildly concerning too, but...
Okay, it's slightly more expensive, but I'm sure we can come to an arrangement. How much you're looking for? Just enough to make a longbow, correct?
Yes.
You should be able to get through it with one plank. That shouldn't be too much. What sort of... Are you looking to... How unique are you looking to make this? Because the age of the tree will matter if you're making a longbow. Besides, actually, you probably wouldn't want planks. You'd probably want to work from the wood itself, which means I'd have to find you a treated log, which is fine. We do have a few, but it's easier to package the lumber once it's cut.
Yes, I think I would prefer the logs, then I can get the hardwood. Mm-hmm. And perhaps use some of the outer pieces for arrows or something like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And as to its age,
Your most expensive Feyheart, please.
Well, so yeah, are you looking at what level of weapon are you hoping to craft with this? Are you looking for a +1 or are you looking for further than that? Because it will differ.
It's the one that we sent you in the ethereal bow. And that is a loading.
I think it was a +1.
Rare. It's a rare item.
Okay. Sure. Well, okay. For the wood itself, it'd probably be about 900 gold.
Sold.
Before we do that, how much would the next age set us back?
Probably close to 200 platinum.
So 2,000.
2,000. I got that. Let's go. Let's roll.
Yes, I'm feeling experimental. When am I not?
Okay.
Let's go for the older.
Very well. how are you transporting the lumber? And then she looks towards Braun.
Yep.
Okay. It's going to be a. Okay. Do you have rope or some way we can harness this onto your
I've got lots of rope.
fine fellow? Okay. Follow me. She's probably about 5'9", this individual as well. Really almost twiggy stature as well. But she's like lean musculature. You can kind of see it in the thing because you see this tree like almost like it's the center section of a stump. Like it's like you've got the stump and then there's boom and about 2 zeps of tree. Well, it's about a zep and a half. And that would be what she just like this large log.
Zep and a half.
And you see that it's kind of covered in this sort of almost like when you look at the top and the bottom, there seems to be like this like resin layer that's almost wax-like. And then as you look at it, it's like the entire thing is almost like in a fine wax layer, almost like cheese.
Mm.
This one, it's treating currently. It will be finished in about a day or so. We don't have any pre-treated, but it should give you enough time to, plan what you're doing and size things up.
That sounds perfect to me. Would you happen to have any advice on how best to work with this material?
Well, due to its nature, I'm not really familiar with making bows. There is one in town that might give you some tips there, but carpentry that goes on with these with this type of lumber, they tend to say that playing music tends to be a more pleasant experience. Also, as a reminder, I do need to just with this trade is being done, I do need to make sure I take your name because of the regulations around trading this lumber. The hallucinogenic sap tends to be a curiosity of the local enforcement.
Of course. I am Zeb Skyspan. These are the credentials of the Skyspan Adventuring Company. Here are my guild credentials of the Skyspan
Okay.
shipyards.
You're from you're a Legrand
My
lander.
name is Zaraj, and I won't use your hallucinogenic properties. I am a catnip person myself.
We literally have
She
Feyenoord written on the ship.
She looks at you and goes, my common does not.
Oh, right, sorry.
It's just but okay, she takes down your credentials. It's like, okay, there is a trade agreement with Legrand's land that should make this not a issue. No problem. I will have this attached to your fine friend here.
Fantastic. I think we should probably return. No, actually, I think we should probably return to the boyer. This is a new material for me, and I am in need of a little bit of education, perhaps. Maybe spend the rest of the day just getting some basic lessons.
Sure.
Perfect. I will accompany you, and I will get us more of those cappuccinos that you liked so much last time.
A cat pacino?
A cat puccino.
If
It's
you're
just like a body of water Darius can just walk into and die.
Yeah, just
just to expedite this, if you pay 100 gold, he'll give you a +2 on your next check when
perfect.
crafting this.
I will pay that 100.
Cool.
You're paying the 2,000?
Yeah, I paid the 2,000.
Cool.
I'll pay the
she
100 too if you want.
No, I got that. That's Zep's education.
That's
He's doing that
Zep.
more for curiosity than because he needs to.
Darius, as soon as this turns into the better part of trading, you step out of the little woodland grove that's making trees, in a kind of a when you resonate on it, it's actually kind of macabre that there's trees that also somewhat have sentience that are also being carved within a grove of themselves.
I I mean, I go to Zorp's
Yeah.
and I'm totally cool with what goes on in there.
And then you tap your platinum card and you move on. But what you do,
that's hypocritical.
but what you do, you do get some information about some of the ongoings. Not necessarily anything from Longreach, but you oversee. There's two humans actually chatting, and they're speaking common, and they seem to be tourists. By the looks of them, travelers of some sort. They've got like it's one of those things of like one of them's got a map, the other is like eating a bagel, but they're discussing news about Korzak. And they said that they're talking about how some of their friends as well so they were because they've been like at a what do they call it oh gosh, where's the place that all like hitchhikers and stuff stay in a town? Hostel. People in their hostel were talking about this, that there's a lot of Korzakian mercenary companies who have been being bought up by the various sides in the war, and some of them are apparently coming home in such disarray that in Korzak there is a number of press gangings that are occurring now, to try and find manpower for their mercenary companies, and that they're glad that they got here as when they did in their journey.
Okay, interesting. File that away. Yeah, just listen. Just kind of without interacting with them as I wait for the rest of my friends to get out of the screaming forest.
It's not, yeah.
The wailing forest, whatever.
Anyway, you leave the boutique lumber. You go to the Boyers, spend the day, and then at the end of the day, I take it some of you say your goodbyes to the professors. Are you looking to leave Benumdum today, or what's the plan,
We
friends?
have to wait for the wood.
Oh no, the wood came with you.
Oh.
I mean, you've got it. It's just it needs to be left in its encasement for a day.
Do we want the merchant to have some time to get some things here before we go on to our next journey? Since it seems like this kind of hub.
Your merchant last informed you that they picked up a lot of stuff because you said you were heading back to Longreach at some point soon, that they bought stuff that will sell better in Longreach. You could sell here, but it wouldn't be as lucrative.
I think we should wait with those resources. This is more if we need to resupply for ourselves.
If they've got any money spare, they might be able to pick some stuff up here to bring also to Longreach. If they've got any cash
space.
about. Yeah, in space. Shit, what does it look like if I go into the hold?
It's not too bad this time. This is definitely the least full it's been. Actually, heading to Antry was pretty full because you took a lot of furniture and stuff. This time, some of the stuff that the merchant picked up was like scripture and books and educational material from Antry itself, and a lot of written. And so there's almost like a corner that is a bookcase and a lectern kind of level, like sort of educational materials.
Can I just spend like all of my time between here and Longreach? Just like books from Atria sound like something I'd be pretty interested in right now.
Okay. What are you looking to ascertain? Just general stuff?
What stands out to me, like if I'm just like flipping through the book, seeing, obviously I'm very interested in anything that mentions like Aureus or Bahamut or that whole like.
Give me a
thing.
quick perception check.
Perception.
Yeah, I think so.
19.
There's a few things on Bahamut. It's like, but it's more general stuff and general stories. A lot of the materials you go through, it seems to be like a lot of biological manuals and like bestiaries and horticultural volumes and things like that. It's like stuff that would be sold to a library.
How to of a 3-horn?
There is some elements on animal husbandry of various Solarum continental creatures.
If we ever go back, we should get this for Zedaar. Well, he probably knows, but still.
But yeah, it's a lot because the merchant has a contact back in Rechin for the one of the institutes in the city, and knows that they can parcel off all of these copies.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some general histories and stuff of Bahamut, etc. So, if you're only staying the day, are you heading straight? What course are you heading now?
Going around the Korzak and heading into Vestilian bureaucracy. Are you going as the crow flies or around it? No, I think we're going around it.
Well, if we're going around it, then we go into the Cognate.
Or the ocean.
Yeah, I guess we could. That would take us. That's pretty far away in terms of like.
We wanted to avoid it because they're press ganging people, and we don't want to, have to deal with that.
As long as we don't land, they can't necessarily press gang us.
We could fly stealthy with our new improved stealthy bottom ship.
Is it all done?
Be a good test of it.
Is the ship stealthy depending on the weather?
It's grey, so it's far less standout than the giant brown vessel in the sky. It's not impossible to see. It's not like you've got a cloaking device.
No, but it's like
fucking
gray camo. Yeah,
it's patchwork grey. It's like
of 20 different paint varieties.
It mirrors on the bottom.
Town's worth of gray and white paint that we could find.
Accidental camo pattern.
Yep. It wasn't accidental. That was the idea.
Yeah.
So yes, you won't hit like from Gundish. If you went straight south, and even if you clipped Korzak or this area, you wouldn't hit any of the dangerous weather areas of the Caliphate. Those are more central to the continent than where you are. So you could go straight, you could curve around into this area a little bit, or you could curve around over Korzak. It's up to you.
If we're going to the Vestilian theocracy, we shouldn't be hitting Azdakian Caliphate at all, right? From Benumdum.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
Correct.
I guess just as the crow flies is probably fine then.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
Okay, I'm gonna need some travel checks, therefore, from Zep as you begin to undertake this journey.
Natural 20 for let's make it a 38.
It's the third one today.
Yeah, just
This.
I'm gonna elect Ghibli. Ghibli, roll me 2d10, please.
Not only third of the day, but it's 3 in a row.
Not impossible.
Seems good at flying.
2, 4 = 6.
Oh, and can you roll those at advantage?
Okay.
Just to reward the natural 20 a little bit more.
2, 3 is 5.
the ship crashes and burns. Good piloting.
But with style because of the nat 20.
Okay. You gain
Evil Knievel.
very good headwind. Now this is going to be... You've already taken a week, but it's going to be another 3-ish.
Wait, a headwind? Isn't that bad?
No, sorry. Other way.
Yeah.
Tailwind.
Tailwind.
That's my head. Even with the tailwind, it's still going to be about 3 weeks of transit. So if there's anything anyone would like to do on the ship, any discussions that need to be made, let me know. If not, we're going to see what happens, if anything happens.
I think I'll just be helping Sep make my bow and talking to him about Bahamut and how I miss Zedaar. And that's until my bow's done. I'll probably just hang out. Try to
be very grateful for your company.
Soul's gonna spend time meditating.
Okay.
Valmy's gonna be training on the top deck. Usually when he's done it, he utilizes a lot of his shade. Like swapping back and forth, attacking the training dummy from multiple angles with the shade. But he can no longer do that, so he doesn't. And so he's trying to basically come up with a new style of fighting that doesn't rely so heavily on...
And also doesn't look as cool.
I mean, I think I look cool.
That's true. Do you still have the polearm?
Yeah.
Soul is gonna watch, by the way. If she's not
meditating.
Well, I'm assuming they're not meditating for 7 days straight.
It's 3 weeks. You've got 3 weeks of transit, so... Okay.
So just basically trying to come up with a new style that works well without relying on the shade.
Sure thing.
Oh, you are getting better.
Okay.
Part of it's like missing something that you utilize so heavily, and now it's no longer something I can tap into. It's disorientating, and just want to kind of get used to not having it for the next time that we enter a fight.
I've heard stories of soldiers who have lost limbs always felt like they could feel it sometimes.
Seems rather poignant considering it's like the shadow arm versus like a shade. I'm sure there's parallels.
You could say that Valmy is a shadow of his former self.
The next hit on the dummy, I'm going to put a second level Divine Smite.
I'm going to blast Holy Weapon!
Just suddenly, I go, ow, nosebleed, what?
Wrathful Smite, Divine Smite, Eldritch Smite. This thing is exploding.
Are you more melee oriented now, Valmir?
I mean, my new abilities that are granted by Aureus, I do have more magical potential, but at the same time, I do still feel like my place in a fight is where it's always been.
In the back in the darkness, throwing spells?
As in the fighting bit, not the... I mean, sure, I guess, but I can do that, but less so now that I don't have the shade to fight for me, I guess. I mean, it was always me fighting, but kind of out of body experience without any of the danger of fighting. So I felt I could be a bit more loose with it. I could go for strikes where I knew I was going to get hit as well. Whereas now I've got to be a lot more careful, protect myself while I'm in combat. It just wasn't a thing that I needed to worry so much about. So
with you
the this ring that I bought in Atria certainly helps.
Well, with you being closer to the front, I shall endeavor to empower your spells as much as I can then.
I'd appreciate that.
You feel better.
I do feel better. It's that bit of shadow in the corner of my eye. It's just that being gone feels easier to breathe.
I mean, it's not just that, Valmir. I don't sense death on you.
Sounds like great to me.
No doubt. I think perhaps you might even be more capable of being yourself.
I gotta find out who that is. This is the me that you met is the me that's always been. So this is a new me, and I guess a time of discovery is probably warranted on that front.
Out of everybody on this ship, I get it.
I'm sure you do.
She'll lay a hand on his shoulder. I'll be there for you if you need help.
Thank you. And the same goes for you. Oh, and I'm going to pass you the gloves of spell storing. This definitely helped out so much against Arakaz, but I can't concentrate on so many magical connections at the same time. I don't know if you have used it or...
No, my spells, my attunement slots are hogged.
Okay. Maybe we can...
Breton, maybe?
Find somebody that can make use of it. Yeah, is Breton hanging around? Because, Soul is here and Breton's not often...
Breton hasn't come out of his room.
Okay. Maybe you can give these to Breton when you see him next. See if he can make use of them. I'm sure you can put some exceptionally useful spell in them for him.
Worst he can say is, no, I don't need them, and if anything else, if you're not attached to them and nobody else is, they would fetch a good price on the market.
I'm sure. I forget what I actually bought them for.
Well...
You didn't. You stole that from...
Lipless.
Lipless.
Oh,
I was about to say faceless.
Well, journey with your father, unfortunately, did not do us much for treasury. So, not that I'm judging. Mine didn't either. Not that I'm judging.
What the hell? And killed a devil, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Well, I got this
free soul is priceless.
And I mean,
what do you mean? You got a whole new paladin?
It was the friends we made along the way. So we all kind of hope for cash until we make our next sale in the Rien, and that does seem to be some time away.
Yeah, and not really much in the way of stops until then either, unless we want to sit down in the Legend Empire. It's probably not a good idea.
No, I think that's a bad idea, yeah.
Maybe Retbury?
No. You know what? I've only been there once, technically twice. It sucked both times.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not a place that improves with age.
No, it is a very awful place. Great pizza, but just awful in general.
I found it mid.
It was charming, at least.
Like a stray cat?
We have one of those.
No, we don't. Zedaar is part of the family.
Yeah, it's just...
She was stray cat.
Zedaar is firmly a house at this point.
Very domesticated.
Yeah.
I'm an indoor-outdoor, but I know about the litter box. Yeah.
What's Breton doing on this 3 weeks?
Breton's been fairly quiet, keeping to his room, reading, tending to his horse down in the galley, because as a reminder, he does in fact have a horse down there. That is keeping with the trend of my characters. Is apparently he just has an animal he takes care of that lives in the base of the ship.
I have an animal in the basement.
It's my basement horse.
He's really keeping Gourd down there.
Oh.
That Feyhut tree that you just bought?
Oh,
Just watering
those
Gourd.
screams are actually Gourd. Surprise. No, he's been keeping to himself a little bit.
Okay. What's James doing?
I have no idea. He's been on a very important business call.
Well, he's had almost 4 weeks now to work on any potions of heroism because he did to get one of those to
great.
use.
Yes, and I will start with that. Breton did want me to investigate into potions of heroism, so I would start with breaking them down and trying to recover.
Give me a quick alchemy check, like the alchemy skill check for you.
Alchemist tools.
Yes.
Int based. Okay. Well, since I'm going to be doing things of that nature, I will consume my intelligence mutant gem and give me a bonus.
Sure.
All right. And back to skill. Not much more, but a little bit more. 25.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you about a day, but you do break down the components, and you could make essentially, if you buy the materials, you can remake these, and you can make essentially one per. A batch will probably be between 3 and 5, and it would take a week. And you can make them for half a book price for those.
So 3 to 5 per week at half book price.
Correct. And you note down the recipe in your journal.
Great. Well, then after that first couple days, I'd come over to Breton. I'd let him know, Breton, I've managed to break this down and figured out a way to remake them here on the ship. As long as we have the materials, and it won't cost as much as we normally do since I'll be providing the labor aspect of things. So about half our usual cost, and I can probably get, I don't know, just shy of a half dozen or so a week.
Good to hear.
I guess, fewer depending on, how good the ingredients are.
Well, this would have happened before we got to Benumgum then, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So could he have picked up?
He can pick up.
reagents in
Yeah, he
Benumgum?
could picked up reagents in Benumgum. Yes.
Check with Darius, see if you can get any of the party supplies, any side coinage that might be useful for that. Having those for the party would be useful.
Well, do you want to just see if the merchant can just bring in a regular shipment of goods for this so that we can have a roughly running stock? I mean, we could sell off some of the extras, whatever we don't need too, right?
You could ask. I would double check with Zep with that, though. That's sort of his
Absolutely.
wheelhouse.
Absolutely. I will go ahead and get in touch with them. Well, do you want to go and speak with Darius? I don't know how comfortable he is with me yet, and I know Zep is fine.
Wow, that's an awkward moment where it's like, yeah, no, maybe you should talk with Darius. You're definitely the person who has a better rapport with him, right? Right? You definitely didn't just talk shit about his family, right?
Well, it was more that James is a vampire. He doesn't think that Darius
Sure,
trusts
yeah.
him.
So these are the worst people to go talk to Darius. Is what we're getting.
It's a rock and a hard place right now, and they're both trying to hit the same person.
Darius, your second Breton will say, I can talk to Darius. That's fine.
If it doesn't work out, I can give it a shot. Just let me know. I'm gonna go speak with Zep.
It's the group funding. I don't imagine it's going to be a problem. It's for the party.
True.
Yeah, so I guess Breton will hit up Darius at some point in this first day, even before Benumdum at this point.
Yeah.
Darius, you got a minute to speak with me?
Sorry about having to go back on all.
It's all right. Time traveling's fine.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
What do you need?
James has managed to nail down the recipe for the potions of heroism, and I was thinking it'd be a good idea to start getting a surplus of that for the ship as well. Not as many as the healing potions, but having a few on hand wouldn't be a bad idea. And by my count, there should still be some coinage in the group funding, and using that as a solid start would not be a bad idea, I feel.
All right.
You're the one who caretakes this, but it has to go through you. Do you not want to be the treasurer here, Darius? You know that responsibility could fall onto someone else.
There's only so many people it can fall upon. fine. What do you need?
I think. What's in there? We have 2,000, something like I think it's like 2,000 gold and 700 gold. Why don't we just call it 500 gold pieces as a start?
That sounds doable.
Just don't make the mistake Ruby did, or for Zaraj didn't put her faith in Ruby stocks.
To the moon.
And this is post Darius having the dream, right?
Suppose, yeah, it was on the way to
if it's that happened the day before, so possibly.
Yeah.
Darius seems like he's acting unusual. I'm gonna make an insight check.
An insight, Darius. Darius, what's your passive?
Passive what?
Oh wait, yeah, no.
There's no passive deception.
No.
There can be.
There technically is.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Technically, every skill can have a passive.
Yeah, what's
That's
what's your charisma bonus?
+2.
Okay, so what? Sorry, not bonus. Charisma stat.
Charisma stat? 14.
Okay, DC 14.
You roll a 50.
You all right, Darius?
I'm fine. Why is everyone asking that today?
Because
Why?
you don't look fine.
I look I look the same I always look.
Brett just kind of like leans in. I recognize fatigue when I see it. You're not sleeping.
I'm sleeping fine. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of energy. We just got back from killing whatever that was.
Yeah, and that should be a load off everyone's mind. I imagine everybody's sleeping like a baby, and yet you seem to be having trouble.
You never have bad dreams?
Occasionally,
Mm.
but it doesn't keep me up tonight. Not anymore.
You're lucky.
You don't have to hold it all in, Darius.
I don't know you. So this is
I'm trying to be friendly. But if you want to keep your secrets to yourself, I'm not going to push it.
Good. It's your 500.
He'll take that and just nod. And
Good
I
luck
guess,
with that.
yeah, we'll close the door, I guess.
Oh, you didn't go in his room.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Take your money. Leave me alone.
Just skipping back into back to the present.
Yeah, that money gets to James. And moving on, sure.
Yeah. What's what is our gold amount? I'll get it. Cool.
Are you able to change the body gold, or do you need me to?
I am not. Should be 242.
Just you're flying above the Azdakian Caliphate and the not Azdakian Caliphate, the cognate of this area. And you know you're venturing more and more towards the Vestilian theocracy. Zep, some of the crew come towards you.
Is there a worker strike?
Yeah. He takes off his hat. Master Skyspan, a couple of the boys were wondering if we could settle down for a day, or just for a while, to cut down a tree.
Why is it you wish to do this?
Well, it's Tallowtide next week, and we were hoping to possibly set up a tree. There's not going to be that many when you hit the theocracy, and well, we didn't want to miss the opportunity. We might be flying at the time, so we wanted to make sure we had a tree.
I see no reason to refuse this. Yeah, of course.
It's basically a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tallowtide is a 3-day festival in
Yeah, I wish I remember that was Soul, because she would have been interested in that.
Since I'm hanging out with Zep while he makes my bow, can I druid craft a little mini tree and be like, perhaps if we plant this one, We could grow it. And it's like a little like Charlie Brown Christmas tree, you know what I mean? And it's all like broken.
Put it in a little pot. Yeah, I mean, okay. So they go and do that. You set down. They cut down a tree and they set up on the top deck. They plant it in a wooden barrel that was being used to hold some water. And oh no, it's one of the old paint barrels. Yeah, they
thoroughly cleaned.
Some of the crew take some of their downtime to set up a tallow-tide tree because the day that you reach the Vestilian Thorocracy is right in the middle of Tallow-tide.
We didn't get any gifts for each other.
I will quickly be right back. So you know what? We're 15 minutes before our break. Let's take a break a little bit earlier here. Mainly because I need to quickly run and do something. But yes, so join us to 5 to 10 minutes time where we will be back with the rest of this show. Use this time wisely. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier. Whether that be from local pirate raids, neighbouring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. From the brain that's rattled and riddled with madness, a radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can beautifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click. An emotion so small that it could endlessly amount possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
If we take this job, someone is going to get hurt. Not me, of course. I'm an effing delight. You do what you do, I'll do what I do. I'll keep the red stuff inside of you.
Buddy, we live in Night City. Just breathing can get you killed.
This sort of job? Bullets flying, people dying, gangers riding, corpos trying to take what they don't already own. Doesn't matter. For us, just another day at the office.
When the world seems bleak, you follow your heart. Take that stage without hesitation and give it everything you've got.
There's a lot more to this city than you'd think. You just gotta dive beneath the surface. People like me, we dive into the depths.
Okay, so welcome back to this half. As we rejoin our group, the Tallow-Tide tree is partially decorated. Some of the crew have got the tiniest bit of the leftover paint, and they've dunked some rope into it to make it like a grey color and put it around the tree as a sort of, and like tied like ribbons into it, like tied bows into it. Just they're making makeshift tinsel and just trying to make it look a little bit better than a tree that's been cut out of a random patch of scrubland from the land below them.
Can Sol help with this? She's not a druid,
Absolutely,
but yeah.
However you wish
No.
to.
Ministry of Culture that she is.
This, I was curious about Tallow-Tide specifically. Is this a Rian custom, a Nardathal custom, or just a long reach custom?
It's kind of a long reach custom. It has variations in Solarum as well. But it's mainly long reach in itself. Like essentially Tallow-Tide in itself has multiple different holidays within the 3-day period. And they kind of, the Pantheon of Albay in its majority basically went, let's encompass all of them in the very almost Roman way of, yeah, your religion and our religion. Same thing, yeah, right?
Then there's assuming this has to do with something that the King That Never Was did, that because that just seems to be where a lot of the holidays came from. Breton is going to be looking up a book to recite this, and it is said in the first day, in the time, the first green and pleasant day, that there was a candle that was lit by the King That Never Was that burned for 3 days when it should have only burned for 1. And thus the story of Tallow-Tide came about. Is it true? No one really knows, but it makes for a great tell on the day.
It's always seemed like just an odd thing to make a holiday out of. It feels like they were just trying to fill something for this period of the year.
So anyway, Sol's also going to make candles for the party.
Okay.
Zaraj's smells like catnip.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is.
Because it is catnip.
Okay.
How to get your cat to light itself on fire.
Rolling yourself in the candle. Zeps smells like an old a workshop.
Oil.
No, it's
new pine smell.
So burning metal and WD-40.
No, it's just like it's that greasy oil smell. You know, that's what your wife smells like.
And iron shavings in the air.
Your candle doesn't smell like anything, Sol.
He's burned his nostrils.
You gotta wash that beard.
And you'll forgive me if I make something up off the top of my head. Darius's is a specific flower called fireweed that is indigenous to the Rian, the northern reaches of the Rian. Making it up, if I'm allowed to do that.
Sure.
Allergic to it.
He makes a small effort and going, oh, this is nice. Then like later on in the day, just goes up to like, I don't know, Zaraj and just going, I can't smell this at all.
Oh, that's right. That is canon. Darius
Canon.
No,
canon. Darius has no sense of smell.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know. So does Sol. It's not the point, though. The point was...
It smells like fireweed from your homeland. So just...
It has a smell to it, doesn't it?
Yes, and it smells very lovely, but it's more about the sentimental value of,
Right.
I think that it's from your home.
Never done this before, so it's kind of a...
Did you say thank you, Darius?
Yes. So it was great. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
James smells like a sangria. Very deep, rich, and red.
Sangria.
Checks out.
Sangria.
Emphasis on the sang.
That was better than it had any right to be.
Thank you for taking that one up for me. Valmir's does smell like lavender. And Breton smells like musk.
Elon or regular?
Regular.
Musk? Okay, then.
You're sweaty.
The man smell for men.
It's a man smell.
Yeah.
Old Spice, but
Yeah.
not the body spray. Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me.
I'm on a horse.
Should have smelled like a horse.
Anyway,
It's definitely copywritten.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did all of the all the candles got covered?
That's everybody. Ruby has one too.
Does
Cinnamon.
it smell like embers?
Cinnamon and wood smoke.
And none
You
but
make your
fire.
own. You make your own candle. Like this
Yeah,
is
other
for me
you.
as a treat.
It's for
That's
Soul, or it's
awesome.
for Ruby.
Yeah, that's so cool.
When she gets back.
But on the on the central night of the thing is like there's various days throughout Talotide that are like and different times of it that are more important to different sects, but the whole encompassing practice is normally agreed upon because it tells of a tale of during the War of the Heavens, where essentially there was a battle prophecy that if there was a candle that was presented to a castle. The rooms of where this castle was are not really known as much. That if the candle burnt out, then the War of the Heavens would be lost, and if the candle didn't burn out, then they were to win the battle and the siege that this castle was under. The castle was under siege for it's said 500 days and nights in the old story, but with how wishy-washy time is to do with the War of the Heaven, it's a protracted siege, which was lifted by the forces under the King that never was and rescued. And within that castle was actually Gilliam de Fionia, which is the founding father of the Nardathel and the Fionian language. Is where they get the name from. It also apparently coincides with the rumored birth of the king that never was, but that tends to be a far more disputed argument. But there's other. So, for example, on the first day of Talotide, there is a Saints' Day within a lot of the Nardathelian pantheon, and like there's like on the second day in the Rien, sorry, not in the Rien, in Legoron's land, there's the Ginger Fest, which where they share gifts of treats of like gingerbread and like ginger infused snaps. It's that kind of thing. And then so there's a lot of little festivals that all kind of tie in now to this broader subject of Talotide. But as you're now flying over, you've been flying over the Vistinian Theocracy lands for a little while now.
Before you do that, on the second day of Talotide, Zep will have hidden himself away for the first day, with the candle that he got from Sol kept outside the door on the outside, and the door firmly shut, and you do not see him for a full day until the second day, where he wheels out two large, almost the same size that he is, canvas packages, which he goes up onto deck, loads one of them into one of the cannon, loads the other one into the other cannon. And then at the stroke of midnight on the second night, going into the third day, he fires off both of the cannon at once. The left side explodes in the sky like a firework that takes the shape of a great platinum dragon that sweeps down just as the second cannon shell explodes into a shape that looks suspiciously like Arrakaz, and the dragon flies through it, dissipating the shape of Arrakaz as a celebration.
Fuck yeah.
I know that story. I was there.
There's like a raucous cheers from the crew.
On Talatide as well. What kind of terrain are we over while this is going on?
Sure.
That's true.
Snow. You're not sure if it's snow or sand beneath you, but there is just, even at night, reflective floor surface.
So no, it's not like over any like cities, no villages, no.
So
okay.
What the Vistalian theocracy is pretty barren. You do see like little every now and then oasis-like lights in fields of just white and dim darkness, where you can see, 5 or 6 houses surrounding a small water source. That looks to be more frozen over than anything, but just these pockets of towns.
So on Talotide then, Valmai will have gone and retrieved the shrine that he was using to contact Arrakaz, and meditate to him before. He'll have taken that and said a prayer to Aureus and dumped it over the side of the ship.
Okay.
Are there specific meals for Talotide that people celebrate?
Dish.
Zep would definitely have told you about the gingerbread for the second day.
It is.
Soul would probably spend a lot of time cooking traditional, healthy versions of Talotide meals.
I don't think you can make a healthy version of a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
You can. Substitute sugars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, processed sugar isn't really a thing in D&D, so.
You can mix mashed sweet potato
better.
with almond flour and make almost like a cookie out of it.
So on the final day of Talotide,
Put some honey in it.
people tend to eat geese.
I'm down with killing a goose. Hate those damn things.
Did we go on a combat adventure to kill a goose? Because they're hardcore, dude. We gotta roll initiative and everything.
It's a full TPK.
Level 12, we thought we were safe. No.
Has anyone seen the Goose Hydra?
Yes.
No.
Yes. That's,
I mean,
okay.
I'm up for fighting it. Let's do it.
Okay. The Goose Hydra is... I'll find the stat block for that and share that because it's fantastic. I'm definitely throwing like a level 3 party against it at some point. But no. And then once you're like, as the dawn breaks on the second day of Talotide, you hit the major stream of the river that cuts through this region, and it's fast flowing, so there's no ice. It's like, and a lot of the snow was also dissipated, so you're into more of like a Targia like terrain, where the water and the floodplain of what was once a desert has now mulched and turned more into Targia with this powerful magical essence that has completely frozen this area over. And eventually you see on the horizon a large city in cinders.
Zep, look away.
The ancient and steadfast walls somewhat crumbled. Pitter-patters of smoke rising throughout this central hub. There is a large central tower that's once mightily stood at the center of this city that has been broken in sheer half. And you slowly approach. Are you looking to try and set down outside the city and progress in on foot?
I would think so. I will also get the most eagle-eyed of our crewmen on the spyglass, just to keep a weather eye to the sky.
Sure.
That'd be Braun, wouldn't it?
Or if he's coming with us.
Ah, right, yeah.
I guess we're going down a little harder than we may have thought.
You set down outside the city. You find a clearing. And
Question. Sorry. Did we know that this was a dragon attack?
Yes, which we knew. This happened right when this damn story started.
Can I do my oh my god, what is it called? Where I sense dragons for
Primeval
6 miles.
awareness?
Yes, primeval awareness. Thank you. That's what it's called. Yep.
Is this Illithilia?
Yes.
I've never played a ranger before.
I mean, you
Bet you
would.
wouldn't for your tastes.
Yeah, I was about you would have. But anyway. You're not in the city yet, so it's only 1 mile, right? Because it has to be your favorite terrain to be 6, correct?
Are we not touching? We're touching down outside of the city?
That was what I was just. Yeah, I think that's what's just been arranged.
Okay, then just 1 mile. Is there anything within 1 mile?
How far out of the city are you guys?
Wow,
Half mile?
Yeah,
4
probably
miles,
something
like that.
Yes, I would say half. Having seen the extent of the destruction further out.
There is definitely a dragon within a half mile.
Guys, the dragon is still here.
The dragon or a dragon?
Can you tell if there's more than one?
I think I can tell if there's more than one.
Can you drop the...
I did put it in the fantasy grounds. It's
It won't open.
No, it does not reveal the creature's location or number, so no. I lied.
You can just
There
tell
are
that-
dragons.
You can just tell that there are, in this area, celestials, dragons, undead, and fae.
Missed opportunity for Siraj to say, "Here there be dragons."
There be dragons.
There's a big party going on. There are celestial, undead, dragons, fae. We should be very careful.
Isn't Sol celestial? Aren't the Fae on board the ship?
Not anymore.
Yeah, didn't we get rid of the fae on the ship? The milk mafia?
Yeah,
we totally whacked those guys.
You did whack the milk mafia.
Whack the fae mafia.
I died last month, so I don't know if that.
We still have the brownie.
I didn't tell you guys. I was playing King of the Castle, and literally there was a whole scene in which a boggle, which is like a fae creature, demanded milk from my court. And I was like,
on brand.
No.
On brand.
That's what you were talking about when you were wondering if they were watching.
Yeah.
We got zucked.
Wow. Anyway.
All right. Well, I guess let's go and help people.
Sure.
I think, Zep, we should tell Marcus not to leave the engines off.
Yeah, as soon as we leave, go back into the sky and make sure the guns are armed, and keep an eye out with the spyglass.
Yeah, Captain.
Can I recommend, if you're saying that there's dragons, can we maybe say the ship should stay close enough to the ground so that if a dragon attacks, it's not going to be 100 dead crew people, and instead it's going to be, oh, that sucks, and we've crashed, and there's, oh no, we'll get up.
Just as a note, I will remind you, you are aware that the council, the Triumvirate of Atria has sent people to the Vestinian Theocracy to investigate. Just as a reminder.
Oh, that's why I'm sensing.
You do know that.
I am still going to take the precaution. I think that flying would be better, because I can always fly away. We have very advanced fire protection systems on the ship.
Okay.
Yep.
Saddle up.
Okay.
Should we approach stealthily and I do pass without a trace?
It only lasts for a few minutes.
That's
close to the city coast.
That's for an hour.
An hour.
Oh, I thought it was 10 minutes. Never mind.
Invisibility is 10 minutes. No, greater
Invisibility is an
invisibility.
hour. Greater invisibility is 1 minute.
Oh, god damn it.
Well,
There's something that's 10 minutes.
I mean, Shield of Faith, that's 10 minutes. It's not a related spell.
Something in the DMG is 10 minutes
Detect
long.
magic is 10 minutes. Detect
magic is also 10 minutes.
Which is what Zeb does a lot. Yeah, Zeb does that a lot, is why I was like, yeah, that's what.
Fly?
Also 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
So are you going stealthily?
Well, what's the environment around us look like other than a smoking city up ahead?
Ruined Targia. So patches of snow, brownish grass, boulders. It looks like there would have been more trees here, but there's a lot of them have been clearly used. There's like little groves of what look to be trees being kept for firewood. And it's really bizarre. It's like there are trees that look like biologically at one stage they were for the desert, that have almost adapted over a long period to gain almost like pine-like bristles and be more suited for the cold. So imagine like I can't remember the type of tree, like a savanna tree, but with
baobab.
Yeah, but like with pine cones and pine bristles out of the top of it.
Okay. But is that like sparse, or is it mostly just ruins?
That's just like very sparse.
Do we have enough cover to be stealthy, or is this just a case of?
There are lots of because where you've landed, there's quite a bit of farmland because you're right next to a really rushing river. But a lot of it's been taken off for there's a lot of cut farmland growing some, you're not sure on the crop, but it looks to be very hardy. There's enough like drainage ditches, etc., that you could make a stealthy approach should you wish to.
It's worth trying.
Okay, pass without a trace.
Okay, you all roll stealth.
Plus 10.
I am taking my horse. Is my horse going to need to roll stealth, or is he just going to use mine?
You can use yours.
Okay.
27.
I think it rolls disadvantage, but I'm going to double check this. It rolls.
22.
29.
Some good rolls coming in here.
Actually, 39 if you include.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. That you didn't add your plus 10 from pass without a trace. That's
15.
Jibs almost broke 40. I think you're gonna be fine. Jibs is rolling for 2. So that she's not pregnant. I just want to point that out.
An actual 20 by 1. Damn it.
So anyway,
I'm going to say you're not pregnant.
I meant to say that some people did roll well there. But you use a lot of these interconnecting waterways, gullies. There's like some that are like almost sewage pipes that have been built out of stone that connect between farmlands as drainage, etc. And you just make your way through until you get probably 400 meters from what looks to be a gate to the city walls. And these city walls are huge, like monolithic battlements. And you're looking at what used to be a gatehouse. The archway is enough to clear like 4 elephants standing on top of each other. But the top of the arch is completely crumbled through, and you only get like one half of it. And then the wall to the left hand side is like completely almost obliterated for about 500 meters before it starts to straggle up to being a wall again. And in this sort of clearing in front of the gate, pitch fires and bonfires burn as there's various tents and just shanty in the area outside the gate. And you look further into the city and there is just smolders because you've got quite a clear view. But a lot of the hive of activity seems to be people going into the town with like carts, etc., and then a lot of people like pulling things out. Whether it
refugees after a crisis, kind of just
yeah, and it looks like a real crisis. Like whatever happened here obliterated parts of the city. Like there's whole blocks of it that aren't standing anymore.
So with the amount of dragons that we've faced so far, can we get like a sense of, like, obviously there's a crap ton of damage. Is this more damage than could have been done by any of the dragons we faced before? Is this like one of the big ones, one of like the void dragon, or is there any kind of like sign
you
of
saw
what kind
the
it was?
attack on compound, and in that attack many of the city towers exploded. It isn't, when the dragons attack, they are not just dragons attacking a city. You experienced firsthand that it was a coordinated militaristic strike. There were plans and methods that they used before they assaulted. So it isn't a dragon attack in the Tolkien-esque, like the standard fictional sense, in the fact that it's a dragon swooping from the sky, burning a few burning houses, etc. These are awful targeted attacks on civilian populations.
Did we ever find out the name of the group that does this?
No.
U.S. government.
Damn. No, there's no oil here.
Not yet.
No, that you know of.
WMDs.
I think you did get the main group name.
Yeah, this wasn't the scorned ones of them. This was another group.
Yeah, like where would we have gotten that information?
We did get two different groups.
Yeah.
We learned this from the professors, I'm pretty sure.
Or from the Conclave in general.
It depends on whether or not these are specifically the Scions of the Gemstones or another group.
Scions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Children of the Banished.
Yes.
That's
those
another
ones.
name for them.
Yes. Those ones. But in front of you, you see in this tent town, the first thing that comes to mind, like, there are like plate armored individuals, and they look to be in like essentially groups of paladins on watch and patrol. But one of the larger tents in front of you is like rolled open on the side for the most part, and you see flickering candles and next to this large tent, a tallow-tide tree, as robed individuals, possibly monks, hold candles and sing, as you see a wall of tables and benches and makeshift beds that have been taken from houses, etc. And this area seems to be medical.
You guys imagine the Who singing the Who hymn.
James would, in the medical environment, James would definitely try and get his hands dirty.
You guys are currently still hidden. This is what you're seeing from your hidden vantage point. You can run over and start helping, but and it actually seems like there's like ongoing care for these individuals as well. They've kind of opened up the side of the tent to try and get some of the heat from this large bonfire that's in the center with the tallow-tide tree just off to one side, and there seem to be like individuals nursing, and then like a monastic choir singing carols. And they do seem to be in Albion, if anyone speaks Albion, the Rhiannian language.
No.
Yeah, is that something that if we grew up there, we should know that innately?
Yes.
Then Breton should know that language.
Yes, you should.
Because he was technically raised there.
Yes, you'd probably know Fionian as well if you don't already have that. On your list.
Does know Fionian.
Yeah.
So I know it growing up in Gervea.
You'd have Fionian probably.
But I think we can break our stealth. I don't think these are the dragons.
No.
Yes, I'm going to go to the medical. I'm going to go to the medical tent and see if they need any assistance.
Well, let's not do that quite yet.
Sorry, I have to go help those people.
I understand that. Let's make sure we're not going to get attacked for our efforts.
I'll get attacked. You can stay in the shadows.
I'll go out.
Just grab James by the ear. No.
Breton.
Yeah.
Make me a perception check, and I'll actually. Oh, sorry. Make me a history check, and I'll also allow Darius to do this.
Sure.
7.
Breton, roll it with
20.
advantage. Hey, Darius gets it.
Okay.
Just because this is kind of your wheelhouse.
23.
Okay.
Oh, should I get advantage as well? But I already have 20. So.
No, you're less religious in your martial prowess, whereas Breton is more faithful, should we say. You both start to pick out some of these individuals and some of the banners that are around these camps. There's a lot of various holy orders, and like orders of paladins and various like chivalric arms at various tents or on shields, and it's like so hodgepodge because it's areas where it's like it seems like there is pride in still holding these banners, etc., but there is no uniformity as into who is where right now. It is like the survivors of various units, etc., just bundled together. They were all part of the same nation, but it's a kind of thing of like, these are the people who are here right now. We've got 5 paladins from this group, 10 from that, 3 from there. There's one guy who survived this group, kind of thing. And there's a lot. So there's a couple of there's a Bakhmutian one, there's a couple of Pelorian, there's a Lathendarian one. There's like there's quite a few King That Never Was variant like holy orders like grouped up. There is even one like half inflamed, burnt, like charred banner of a Moradin holy order chapter. Like, it is a like these groups would have happened like in the great like the chivalric like in the chivalric Great Wars, these would have fought quite a lot together. But like, it's weird to see so many like, oh, you guys were in a history book quite a lot of the times, like kind of thing, in one place, and also not looking very proud right now. But yeah.
Breton is just gonna say, no, I think hiding is we're wasting our time. We should just move in. And
okay.
Breton is just gonna start trotting into the middle of the camp, astride his horse, because he did bring his horse along.
Okay. Breton mounts up and rides along. As you get closer, you are waved down by an individual. He's got like a whitening beard poking out of his chainmail like coif. Full tabard, like a kite shield that he's kind of leaning on, and a spear that he's also kind of propped up under his arm, sort of thing. Sword at hip. Just kind of Who are you? State your business.
Breton Montelier, Knight of the Chevalier Argent, service of House Sunderstar, and member of the Skyfire Adventuring Company.
Adventurous.
We're here. Yes. My group and I are here to look into the attack that came upon this village and to other related affairs. What's the situation in the town as it is?
Well, you're not the first ones to come and investigate. Not a lot of people doing much else than investigating. I'm Ulbrich. I was a Master Sergeant of the Order of the Shattered Sword, and well, the city's had better days. The great cathedral is totally ruined, with the Spire of Ascension being crushing 2 districts of the city, so unpleasant. There's still a lot of people haven't made it out from under the rubble yet. The west quadrant of the city got away mostly unscathed, but everything, we're still fighting fires and putting things out. The clerics are pretty low on diamonds and healing potions and all sorts, and we've had to enlist and utilize more traditional barber surgeon methods for a lot of the work. If you were looking to trade, it's going to be hard pressed, but if you're looking to get to the bottom of this, I'd try to head to the cathedral in the center of town. It's where a lot of the investigations are, and those others who are investigating are, and it's where the attack began. So,
Rest of us there.
Yeah, I think everybody's at this point. Everybody's moved up.
Do you need assistance with? Oh, forgive me. Go ahead.
The cathedral. Who specifically is in charge? Who's maintaining the lead on this? I have to assume somebody's leading the restoration efforts.
Well, most of the issue is that in the leaders of the theocracy are elected through the various holy orders. They submit a candidate, and it's much like the Pantheon of Alba and the King Bishopric. It's like a cardinal electee kind of system, but with the decimation of most of the orders, the hierarchy's pretty much fallen apart until the orders can all elect their various candidates, and then another vote happen. Whitewin, the champion of the City Watch, is organising a lot of the cleanup and refugee efforts, but in terms of the wider theocracy has now kind of fallen to the various reeves or orders that are stationed further out.
At the initial attack, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At the initial attack site, were there any survivors?
Some lucky ones. Some who fought their way out. Some who...
Are there any
ran.
around here?
Looks around for a moment. No, not that I can see. I was a couple of blocks away. I was drinking. I was off duty. I was in a tavern at the time, and
okay.
One of the chunks from the tower of the cathedral smashed right through the place.
Yeah. Okay. She'll look to Breton and I think we should go find who's in charge.
If James is going to go to the medical camp, I'll probably go with James. I can only do medicine checks, but I could assist.
Yeah.
Angia's scalpel.
Are there any ongoing hostilities in the city, or are things mostly calm now?
It's not. Luckily, it's a lot of just dealing with looting and that kind of thing. But in terms of the attackers, they've long gone. Just the place is in complete disarray, and we don't have the manpower for it anymore. Every individual of renown or of the guard, etc., it's all volunteer here. So
I think we may be of assistance here. And Zep's going to move away from the group. Marcus, you can stop your state of alarm. The threat here has passed. Come to the city, land the ship. I want skeleton crew left on board, and the rest are to help with the rescue efforts.
Okay.
SNR.
We have a lot of crewmen.
Thank you.
Thank
you all very much. We are going to make our way to the cathedral, look for this Woodwin you said, the person who's momentarily in charge, and see what else we can do to help organize and get things into proper straits.
Yeah. With the war going back home, going on back at Longreach, a lot of the normal aid that we would receive from afar is just we're cut off. Is what it is.
Well, you have some aid here now. We'll do what we can while we can.
Thank you.
We have a group of crew members, I'm looking over at Zep to confirm, heading their way here now, I believe. So you'll
Don't be
have
alarmed by a
more...
sky ship.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, you'll have a lot more.
A flying ship.
The next thing you see flying into the city is going to be friendly, not hostile. In fact, if you want to start spreading that message around so people don't panic, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it does sound like a good idea.
Has there been no outreach from other nations?
Well, either they're dealing with their own attacks or they send their condolences. Relations are frosty with the Caliphate for obvious reasons, so they're very unlikely to help.
It's frosty. Sorry.
We're standing in the ashes of his home. Maybe not.
I made the joke on purpose. It's
if anything worth taking so serious is also worth laughing at.
Humor is how we cope.
Yeah.
Trauma. Yeah, trauma through laughter. The entire group.
I did want to ask this, just out of curiosity. I'm going to completely derail this topic here, how serious it is, but this place was described as also immensely cold, right?
Yeah, it's Targia-like levels. That's why there's like, so you see with him is like about 5 meters away from him, there's like a little brazier burning some wood, and then like.
I was more curious, how is the party dressing for this weather? Like, how is the party like changed up their gear to like accustomed to that? This is just we're in essentially like Russia in the winter.
Yeah.
Darius looks exactly the same.
You landed on a light day, but yeah.
Got her coat and a hat.
Zep is dressed as he was when we were going up the mountain to see the Dwarven Hold, which I believe was also cold.
Yep.
I'm wearing a fur coat, my natural fur coat. PETA can't say shit.
I'm wearing a sexy skin coat. Didn't we probably bought some stuff in Atria, right? Didn't we have that as
we did talk about getting some cold weather.
Yeah, that.
We did.
Yeah. I was just curious. Sure.
Is there anybody here who is still considerably wounded or in danger?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of recovering individuals over there. Those who could be healed in time were.
specifically someone in charge of the medical affairs that would be more in keen with where the individual wounded need to be taken care of and who all was in danger.
Are there any healers that were injured and are currently out of action that we could potentially put back in action?
I don't know the full scope. I would check at various of the medical stations. There's a lot of recovery going on over here, but some of the surgery's happening over by the East Gate, more so than anything.
James is probably going to go make a donations.
The surgeon hasn't been around.
Go collect.
Where is the surgeon?
Well, there's a few of them, but the main one who deals with this area is gaunt fellow by the name of Rector Bloom.
It's a great name.
Well, I'm going to go try and find Mr. Bloom.
I think it should be safe enough as to split up. They did say that there's been no open hostilities in the streets, just
looting.
Keep us posted.
Breton, you want to go with me to talk to the leader?
Yes, that was my plan. See if we can find better organization for this and get this back into proper straits.
I also have some questions about if anything was stolen.
Well,
who's going to manage our forces when they arrive and kind of disperse them?
Darius is probably the best bet for that one.
Either Darius or Faston.
For what specifically? Sorry.
SNR operations, managing the people.
Managing the crew, because we're bringing them in.
Yes, it's the crew's coming in to help with it.
Yeah, we don't want to just add more people to already chaos. That's what I was thinking. So somebody who could help coordinate our people's efforts in the best, way.
Sure. Yeah, Darius.
Thank you, Darius.
We're thankful of your donation of help. Each dawn's light brings a new day, and may its warmth guide you. If you don't mind, I'm going to spread the word that you're flying on in with a skyship.
Remind me, Mitch, because I was writing this down. Alveric said he was a knight of the Shattered Sword?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was getting that right.
Oh, also spread that we're organizing. It just seems very disparate in here. Maybe we can get a bit of an organized structure going, just to amalgam in.
There is some, but yeah, it's a bit above me.
Is the Order of the Shattered Sword anything to do with the Blade of Equilibrium?
Are you asking him that?
Yes.
Yes. It is.
Is there a temple to Brayla in the city, or was there?
The Grand Cathedral was a pantheon for many religions. That Brayla had a chapel, a church within. It's essentially the entire building was a complex of various other.
And it was attacked first and the hardest?
Yes. It is a holy site of great renown across many religions and cultures.
She'll look to Breton and nod.
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess Breton and Soul will mount up and start making their way over there. As we the party kind of starts to spread out.
Yeah, sure. Who's going
sector.
where? So I know what the groupings are.
Zaraj, James, Rector Bloom.
Okay, so Zaraj and James are looking for Rector Bloom.
Where is Valmir going in this? I'm actually curious. Is he going to put his new healing talents to the test and help the wounded, or?
Yeah, that's what my plan is going to be, to find where the healing is concentrated, to see if I can find people who could be useful in helping others and give them some lay on hands to get them back on their feet, and so they can start helping people again.
Sure. So Breton and Soul are heading into the center of the city.
Yeah.
And
while they're doing this, Breton would like to be just keeping an eye on things. He's trying to get an idea, like his own personal view of like the situation, like what's the food situation, like how many people are set about, like what is the most important areas to focus on that they can immediately try and fix some of the problems they're having.
Sure thing. Zep, where are you, Braun, going?
We are going to go to wherever the fire damage was the worst in order to assist with removing rubble.
Okay. And Darius, you're going to be organizing
the crew into search parties.
Yeah, and then you're going for a search party too. I'd probably group you as Zep then and Braun because you're going to head into the similar sort of area, I think. I'll start with Ruby and Breton because I think this will give a good scope of what the situation is like by this description.
It would talk first. Sorry, if I'm allowed, we can talk in a way.
Sure.
It's just it makes sense that they would attack here first with considerable force if there were two possible seals.
I don't know if there were two seals here, but
this was what we thought. Maybe one of the.
You mentioned a piece of braidless heart might be here.
Along with the Blade of Equilibrium, yeah?
The blade is most certainly not here.
Okay, I thought a piece of it was. I'm sorry.
No, we learned that from Zedaar's message, that supposedly a piece of it was in the Nautilus and another was in one of the fishes in the Reach, in the Rien.
Yeah, one was in the the main cathedral in the Rien.
Yes. We did. That was specifically part of Zedaar's message.
But
Sword of Mercy half was given to the king that never was, may reside in the Church of the Ascension. Gabriel de Fiona, predecessor of the Nardathel, was given the tip of the blade, may reside with the Zevalier Argent.
But the scales of law were here.
Okay.
So that is another one that could have been here. Actually, we might want to make a note of that. Make a note of that. Note.
I love. Sorry, I just need to take a moment to say that I love Lambert because he puts his session notes in our secret Discord chat, the individual person ones. The ones that pertain to.
We have a secondary Discord chat for all our notes.
Yeah, I know. But the ones with the Valmir ones, it's just like he also highlights certain things in a very Valmir way of thinking. But it's good because I read them and chuckle, but it makes me remember things. So big up to Lord Lambert's note keeping for that one.
Anyways, but yeah, if this place is as dangerous as to their plans as thought, or as important to the seals, then either this is going to be a terrible revelation or a good one. But I think we have more important things to focus on right now, as strange as it may seem. I mean, the attack at this point took place months ago.
Excuse me. I know. I just can't be everywhere at once.
No. I'm more surprised that this place hasn't seen more reinforcements. I understand that the war effort doesn't allow for any. That's one thing, priorities, but Atria, there are Benumdum, like there are other regions around here, places that are, as far as I could tell, seem like they would be more than happy to help out. And I guess this is just the relationship this section of the country has had with the other nations. It's just nobody has much reason to help it.
They're outsiders. Invaders, even.
Yeah, well, either way. I'm surprised there's... Actually, I'm curious, why is there such a presence here of the foreign orders of knights?
It's a Crusader state, isn't it?
Okay, it's a Crusader state. That was where my brain was failing to put it together. If it's a Crusader state, that makes sense. Okay, I got it now. All right. Now all the gears are rolling in the same direction.
If you look at the map of this nation, there's like 2 cities on it. Lithilia and Mithimran. Mithimran is the supposed birthplace of the king that never was, which is why they invaded this area, because it was all under Azdakian control, who don't really pertain to the hero that much, outside of being... They see them more as like Hercules in the Pantheon in terms of if it's stories and stuff, like in relation to their gods, etc. Compared to being, you know, God in the other pantheons. So
was it this bad when they attacked Compound?
It would have been if there wasn't enough martial force there, yes. It was without mercy.
It makes the question come up again of why did they attack Compound then? Was it Joanna or...
I think it was. And I think they can track the seals.
That might be something worth learning.
There's a reason we have ours secured.
Mm-hmm. But if dragons attack the ship, then we'll know it's not as safe as we thought.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
So you ride through the city streets, if you can call them that at this point. There is it's an odd patchwork of what remains of the city. Sometimes you'll pass 3 houses that are completely fine and untouched, but they are surrounded by a sea of bricks, mortar, and thatch just spread at locations that once were buildings. There are areas of fires and rubble, and you see people who have pitched tents in locations where their houses were. People that have moved certain bricks aside. You go past individuals that are there with carts, and they're going through the piles of rubble, picking out bricks and stone that have survived damage, sizing them up and loading them onto carts. There's...
Are there a lot of civilians on the side of the road?
Some, but it's sparse, and if people aren't injured, people are helping.
Okay, how about children?
There's a lot less children running around. It's not exactly people playing, especially with it being so cold out. There's a lot of people that are just...
Whatever passes for a daycare is where the children are at this point.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, is anybody on the side of the street who's starving or anything like that? But
it's also like there's a lot of less people, as you also see, like as you go more towards the center of town, and you see more tents and areas that have been cut out. There's like, you pass what is essentially what remains of a chapel, where the walls have remained on it, but the roof and the spire have been completely caved in, and then they've replaced the roof with like a tarp, and within that there's a lot of individuals. It looks to be like a soup kitchen, and there's like queues of peasantry like getting meals, and a lot. It's as bleak as everything looks. There is some elements of joy bursting through, purely because of Tallowtide, and there's a lot of people, like, even so that there's like destruction everywhere. There are people that have like made a little area where you see people making candles, and like the remains of windows. There are people that are just like leaving their candle in the window as they would to get that sense of normality. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Breton is going to look at Soul. Can we make a quick stop?
Yeah.
Soul's going to not spend much time here, but basically she's going to go to the head chef and open up her bag of colding, and any prepared food she's got is just getting handed and donated.
Yeah, sure. There's a dwarven woman, like tied back ponytail, like ebony ponytail, with like hands that could like
they can quash a melon.
Yeah, like, but she's just who's ravenously kneading dough, and you see next to her there's like lines and lines and lines and lines of bread in a recently clayed and fired oven, and it's just like, thank you, kind. I'll make sure this gets distributed.
You're more than welcome. Braille will guide you. Okay. Look, Breton on. Okay.
And it's right, and you move on. The spirituality of buildings gets fewer and fewer. It's like it's almost like a meteor hit the closer you get to the town, except for this grand cathedral complex that is in the center, the spire of ascension in the center. Like I said, this thing would have towered almost towards the sun. It is in fact, just as a side, people used to tell the time of day as to where the shadow of this tower was over the city, and this the tower is like barely above the main complex of churches. There's an entire wing that's been crushed, as well as like this thing falling over caved in all the way and spread enough rubble that destroyed, and some of the rubble landed outside the city. Like, it has taken out an entire section of the city that is now its own, just its own maze and mountain of stone. But you progress towards it, and in fact, when you get to the center, you come across what seems to be a bit more of a structured town within the town. There is a hive of activity. There's patrolling troops in like formation. There's individuals coming back with what seems to be like carts of individuals. Their grip on this world you're not sure of anymore, but they're being hurried towards what seems to be actually a wing of the cathedral that seems to be turned into a general hospital in some way. And you actually see like there's a lot of peasantry, etc., coming in and out of the actual main attacked cathedral, as a lot of it is now refuge. The remains of it, at least, now refuge. There's like shattered stained glass, ornate cobblestones that had depictions of great battles and moments of faith, just chunked and charred. And when you enter the more central square that would essentially be Cathedral Row, you are hailed down by an individual.
So we'll wave back.
Who are you with?
Adventuring group. We just arrived.
Skyfire Adventuring Company.
Oh, I'm sorry that this is how you're seeing our city.
We're here to help, and actually we need to talk to
Widwin. We were told they were the commander in charge.
Oh, she's over there, you see, but that table next to the brazier, the one looking over the map.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go over that way.
Okay. You head on over, and you see this individual with she's in what seems to be plate mail that is a mix of it's a mix of gold and like green, like the steel has been stained like a deep green, and she is just like, you see like white hair, but like dyed white hair, like silvery white hair, and like there is a great sword like leant up against the table in its scabbard, kind of thing, and she's like both hands on the desk, like just looking at this map.
Hail.
Oh, hail.
My name is Sol. This is Sol Sunderstar. This is Breton Montelier. We adventure the Skyfire Adventuring Company. I think we'd like to have a conversation with you if you have a few moments to spare.
I'm a little busy, but sure, as long as I can keep working some things out while we do.
That's part of what we're here for. We're here to help. We're trying to help you be a lot less busy.
Yes.
There are things we'd like to know, but that can wait until we help with the situation.
Yeah, our skyship should be arriving shortly. It's got a considerable amount of manpower and supplies that will be able to assist you.
Well, thank you.
And any information you can provide to us. We'd like to get an idea of how many people are still here, alive, food situation, injured situation. Just numbers would help us immensely.
Sure. Last count, we were that number was wrong. The last count was about 5,900 individuals, souls. Considering the city was upwards of 20 times that, it's not looking good.
No.
We are completely out of diamonds, health potions, and we are now only around 180 clerics strong.
Well, our ship will be able to help some of that, unfortunately. I don't think we have enough to supply your entire nation's worth. And we will have that coordinated as soon as possible. If you want to let whoever you have to let know that there's somebody coming in on a ship, don't panic.
Thank you. I don't have any means to get the information around right now. But if they could go to, and she starts pointing on the map like this, we haven't had the manpower to clear a single area of this part of town here, and she's just, it's like, it's
okay.
We've been working our way out from the gates, and it took us 3 weeks to reach the cathedral here. Most of the roads were blocked, at least with carts anyway. The roads were blocked.
I understand. She's going to cast sending to Marcus and give him a
thank
landing.
God, she finally took sending.
I took sending.
God.
Okay. I can cast sending, and she is going to tell Marcus where to land.
Sure.
Was that where to land or where to send people?
I was where
to
send
send you
people.
where the major clearing needs to be done.
Yeah.
Then yes, where did the troops need to be first dispersed? I guess I would tell Darius that then instead.
Yeah, that'd be Darius is up for that because they're the one heading those efforts.
Darius then, yes. Never mind then. Darius, you get a message from Sol. People are coming in. They need to go to this location, and she will tell the location.
Okay.
If you have some time to answer some of our questions.
Sadly, one of the only things I've got is time. So, ask away. What do you want to know?
Are we alone in here? I'm sorry.
You are not in a room. You are in the middle of a courtyard space. Okay. It's like she is essentially what looked to be like a market square at one point. She has turned into her main sort of central information place where she like sends people off, and you do notice as you're stood there, like there are individuals that are like to be scribes or various workmen, etc., keep coming over with like things for her to sign, kind of.
Is there a way we can have just a few moments of privacy? They don't have to be far away, just out of earshot. Sensitive things we're about to talk about.
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure. 12.
Look, I haven't slept in 3 days. I told that pompous party from Atria that if they wanted to talk to me, they'd have to do it here, and I don't see why I should change that for you. So,
of course,
either say what you have.
I do not mean to be rude.
No, nor do I. I'm sorry. There's a lot right now.
I understand. If I told you that we are talking about the seals of Elendor, would that change your mind?
Seals of Elendor end up getting talked about in church every week, so Again, I'm hard-pressed to understand what you mean.
Okay. She'll look to Breton for confirmation if she should drop any bombs.
Part of the reason we're here is the group that did this, these dragons, worshippers, the ilk that are responsible for this devastation. They're pretty high on our shit list right now. And
excremental roster.
We're looking for anything that we can find that might lead us to them as, well, I would personally love to just show them how I would respond to something like this being done.
The places they're attacking has not just been here. They have attacked places that are rumored to have seals. Yours was the first and hardest hit. And the cathedral appears to be ground zero.
Wow. Cathedral means a lot to a lot of people.
The fact it's still standing is remarkable.
Yeah. A lot of people gave their lives to make sure that that was the case. Well, if you want to ask questions, you can do the same. You head into the cathedral. You head to what was the Chapel of Lathander. You will find under guard 3 bastards that did this. They're locked in chains that prevent them from turning back into their natural selves.
Are any high-ranking priests still around, or the high priest or priestess?
Which faith?
Who was in charge of the cathedral? Was it a collective?
Yeah. Well, it's also the seat of governance for the entire theocracy. It's
who, if I was to address the most important of them.
We got lucky in the fact that some of them weren't here. They still remain not here because they are fighting in the war in Longreach. The breakdown of command is oversight. This is why my station is here outside the cathedral, because I am of the city. I am not of the church. I am not allowed to run things in there. They run things in there, and we are butting heads.
If something was stolen from the cathedral, you'd be the last one they'd tell.
Yes, it's not my jurisdiction, but also they're not letting me in to help them run their show.
As of now, this support that's coming in, they're coming to you. You're going to have that authority.
Thank you. The highest ranks left some of the heads of the holy orders that remain. But the whole nation is going to be without a leader until they can either convince the other holy orders to not to forgo their vote and not elect someone new, or they've got to try and find a majority. But
I'm getting succession war vibes.
Sorry. Yeah, it's less that. It's more the fact that there's the chain of command is, imagine like the D-Day, like D-Day paratrooper jobs. It's gone from being like an integrated command system with like various generals, etc., to, okay, Lieutenant, you're now the highest ranking official for the next 5 miles. What we doing? Kind of thing.
Congratulations, you have been selected. Please do not resist.
Yeah.
No, she'll look to Breton and say, I think we should have a conversation with their captors if we can, and the people who are in charge.
There's a lot of people to talk to right now, yeah.
Ruby is thankfully not here. She would be much difficult to manage with religious people. I think I can manage a little bit better.
Breton kind of gives a side eye to Soul when she says that, and just kind of.
True.
With that, I'm gonna zoom away and head to James Zepp. Not James Zepp. Say James, Valmir, and Zaraj. After asking around, you come across an individual who you walk a little bit into the city and see some of the same sights that I previously described, but eventually you come to an individual who is in like full black leathers, like a full black leather duster, and underneath that is like traditional black sort of finely cut but plain priest's robes, and they have a hood that's round their neck. The hood is lined with black fur. Very gaunt looking individual, little spectacles on the end of their nose and a kind of receding hairline, and they have a singular sorry, they have a holy symbol around their neck in like an off dulled metal color. It's kind of like a bronze color. Sorry, I'm trying to get the description of the holy symbol up.
Almost like tarnished metal.
Yeah, it's like it's polished and clean, but it's not like a luxurious gold or silver or platinum. It is just like a working man's metal.
Iron or tin or
it's bronze. It's bronzy looking.
Okay.
And the symbol is a set of hold on. I'm on the wrong web browser. That'll do it. Let me get the description of the symbol. But anyway, they're like, and they've got like kind of a half cloak as well over like, but it goes like as part of the duster, it also breaks into slightly a cloak. They look to be some sort of cleric or at least practitioner of faith.
Excuse me, Rector Bloom, I presume.
Yes. And now when he turns, you see that it's like a set of scales being gripped by like a skeletal hand. As a holy symbol. Feel free to make a religion check on that if you want to know what that is.
I will do that.
Sure thing.
$13.
It's quite a common one. So it's the symbol of Kelemvor.
Do I know what that is?
They're the judge of the damned. They're the neutral god of death, the dead, and judgment.
Okay.
And yeah. So there's just yes. Can I help?
I think it's more, can we help?
Yes, as my friend said. I'm James Augustine Willoughby, and my friend here is Valmir Kensick, newly anointed paladin of Aureus. And we are here to provide medical aid and as some spiritual healing, I believe.
Dr. Rector Bloom, he like takes his hand out of the black leather glove that he's got on and offers to shake it. Offers to shake your hand. You see that his skin is very pale and like his skin is very tight to the bones of his hand. Like he's very like It's like a meat skeleton, essentially. Like that's the easiest way. He's like
a living ghoul.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the undead that was sensed earlier?
Are you going to use your divine sense?
I forgot I had that. I'm not going to.
I'll happily shake their hand.
Yeah, his hands are very cold to the touch, but then again, you're in like the minus outside, so it's not surprising. He puts he offers the hand to you as well, Verma.
I'll shake.
You have typical doctor's hands. It's nice to see.
Yes, I try to keep them warm with the gloves. Now, give me one moment. Now, Marjorie, you remember, I don't care that the city has fallen apart. You need to continue to take this. Otherwise, we're going to have one of those spells again, yes? And she goes, oh, thank you, Doctor. And she just hands this sort of jar that's like sort of milky liquid in it. I'll take it, don't worry. And he's like, yes, no selling it again, okay? It's for your health. He sort of brushing himself up. Oh, even when the city is destroyed, you've still got to go by. Everyone still has their needs. So you're offering to help. He pulls off his glasses and begins to like clean the lenses.
Yeah, we both have some healing capabilities of magical means. So if there's anyone that we can help specifically that will be able to pass that help on and help more people themselves, we do have a limited capacity, and I think we want to do the most good that we can.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm about to do my rounds, checking some of the outer camps for those who are recovering, making sure no one's lapsed, etc. But the main surgery and the more critically injured they're in what used to be the main chapel of Palo, which has now been converted into the general hospital, as the original general hospital was one of the first places to go, sadly. If you have any materials like doctor's kits, healing kits, potions of healing, anything of the sort, there is a donation center there as well, where we will take anything that you can get. We've also got a number of artisans that are attempting to get, we're trying to renovate one of the breweries. Used to brew mead, but we're trying to see if we can change that into a refinery for potion brewing.
Unfortunately, I only have a small amount of healing kit supplies for myself and, my personal party, but I can offer any type of surgical assistance, and or I can try and help them set up their brewing stations for getting more health potions out.
Sure.
That sort of thing.
Well, if you do have healing supplies on you, and we'd happily take the donations, but also keep good eye on them. The black market here is now making a lot of healing goods go for a pretty penny. I've been doing what I can to buy some up every time I hear about it, but
I'll take 2 out my bag, and I'll give him 2.
Worth more currency than gold is here these days. Food and healing supplies.
Yes, people can't eat gold coins, but they can live off of bread and water.
Sadly, the only use for coins are to pay the boatman here.
Yeah, so I give him 2 potions of healing, and I'll...
He accepts this. You see him as well go, like, when he pulls open his duster, there is like a side satchel on his belt, which looks to be like a potion bag, which is locked. And he literally goes in, and then pulls off his holy symbol, and the scales fit in as a key. Like the bottom of the scales are actually cut to be a key, and he opens the potion bag and he puts it in, and you see there's like, you instantly get that aroma of like various herbs, etc., that would be used to make potions. There's like a couple of half empty, and it looks to be like there is a superior healing potion in there as well. That's just like, it's like almost labeled. It's got like a blue cap on it, like as a this is your revive tool. And you also see, what's your passive perception?
Mine's not too high.
Where do you see the passive in this? 14.
Perception is 10.
With a 14, you'd see that there is also a little, very little bag that seems to have diamond dust in it. And it's a mix of, but there's also things like needle and thread and a bone saw. It's a mix of magical and arcane healing means and the more traditional methods.
Yeah.
We actually, as well, and if you're looking to do some more investigative work or anything, there's towards the southern side of the city, there's rumors that there is a sickness spreading.
What kind of sickness?
Well, I'm hoping it's not a plague, but I haven't actually been over there myself. Look for Gabriel Tort in the main chapel. They're looking into the issue. There's also rumors of gangs on the further. It's mostly impassable by cart, but if you cross what was destroyed by the spire to the far side of it, we're not able to patrol it properly. So it's kind of become a bit of a haven for people who are just, and I don't want to use the term criminals, but surviving from means outside the system.
And can you remind me of his name again?
This guy?
Yeah.
Rector Bloom.
And he's a surgeon.
He was described to you as a surgeon. But considering what he's got with him, he seems to be a cleric.
Cleric of Kalimvor.
Some might say he's a grave cleric.
I'll make my way to the we said to make to the donations.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And I'm going to donate another 3 potions of healing there.
We'll get back to you then with those. Zep and Darius. It's 20 minutes or so max when about half of your ship's complement arrive. Obviously, I say half. I know you asked for a lot more than that, but considering there's extra guard duties to be done on your ship, it's probably all that you would recommend sparing.
This
At
is
least if you want have all the... Yeah. Because your skeleton crew is slightly up considering what you have aboard, I think. Unless you want more.
I was going to say we could have more. I would just take off again, so there's not as much security required.
Okay. Sure. Okay, then about 75%. So looking at about 250 individuals. They'll arrive, and you are still at that sort of outer camp, but an Ulbrich has come back over as like, Darius, also you received a message from Sol probably about this time.
Okay. What was that message again? Just refresh my memory.
It was telling you of a location where your guys are to head to help search and rescue.
Got it. Okay.
And you ask Ulbrich, and he's like, if you were to go, once you go through the destroyed gate, he like sort of points out that kind of region, which area you're kind of going for.
Okay.
So how are you organizing everybody?
think Zep should be the overall like lead organizer of everyone, and then I just be kind of like the manager. You know, making sure everybody's keeping on task and being able to like spot if we need more people somewhere, stuff like that.
He may have to pick up some of the slack because as soon as Zep gets an opportunity, he just goes into full engineer mode. Probably still like overseeing excavation effectively, but he's far more interested in the practical than the theoretical, so he gets stuck in.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. So
although he's smart enough to know that he's the he probably would take enough of a step back to be able to organize work groups.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you want to split them? You've got 250-ish men and women. Like what? How big groups? Like, because the region that you've been given is like a city block.
I think split them into 25-person teams and have them working on, we can double up on areas, but that makes them flexible enough that we can like put them in different places if need be.
And there should be enough officers amongst the crew that this is possible.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
10 teams.
Thinking. Yeah. 10 teams, and then
10
we
teams
just, like,
plus one central team.
Yeah, just kind of
with you guys in it. Okay. So you head into the city, and you both also get you and Braun, you two and Braun get the first glimpse of the utter devastation. Like properly, like it was a sight to behold. Like you could see it from the sky, but being down on the ground, it is rough. You've both seen war, but in the times that you have seen war, even for you, Zeb, and the destruction that you've seen, this is a new level. This is an entire city that no longer, it's like by any means of the word, is now a ruin. It will take a century to rebuild. It is, unless every nation, everywhere, came in to send people to help with both money and material, this will take hundreds of years probably to rebuild. Like it's could also this city is like areas of this city are ancient, and it is like no more as well. Like Zep, you notice this a lot. Like you're walking past some of these buildings, and like the architectural style of some of the the chapels or some of the houses that you've gone past are like thousands of years old in certain elements. Like they've had new bits put on, but there is like pieces of history here that are just lying in rubble. But your team spread out. I'm gonna need.
Sorry, there are a couple of details I would like to do.
Sure.
So my apprentice, I would like to pair up with Faston and have a group which is kind of my secondary engineering group.
Yeah.
I would also like the merchant to run one of those groups, basically finding out what supplies are needed the most, and create a list effectively for the merchant. And at some point in the future, I would probably send the ship to the nearest, probably Kozak settlement, to try to get some of those supplies. But that is something I will do when we actually have the group together, as that would mean sending the ship away.
Yeah, the nearest Kozak settlement is a long way away.
I know. I was looking at the map.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna need for the teams that you're heading up. I'm gonna need survival checks as you begin to search rubble, or investigation checks for searching and rescuing individuals.
Can I use my artificer, as I am actually a trained engineer?
I would say yes. Your engineering ability will be able to look at the structural or deconstructural elements of the rubble piles.
So close to another natural 20. Teetered.
You're chasing the high now.
Man's engineered the fucking thing we're
Because
using.
the area, just as a reminder, is like where you guys are is you can see by like the spread pattern of a lot of the rubble, you are like the mega tower that made the central spire of the church essentially landed on this portion of the city, and where you are is hugged right up against the wall. And like there are like elements where it's like there's a chunk on the wall where something is ricocheted off it and gone back into the city. There's like a hole probably half a mile long in the city wall where like rubble has fallen through there. It's like, and now like the rubble pile of some of these houses and buildings etc that you are up to in this area that you've got to search is like people could live under the rubble like 3 stories. It's like utter destruction.
Well, I'm definitely boosting that to a 32.
Okay. You spend the time yourself actually making a crane to help move some of the larger boulders and like start organizing people to build some scaffolding up the side so that they can get to the top, and elements like adapting broken tools and mattocks and spades out of various things that you find lying around, etc., to help speed up the efforts. Other than that, it is just brute strength and handling. Darius, do you want to be using like organization? Do you want to be leading a search party? Do you want to be like hand and bearing it, just moving stuff? What's your goal right now?
I think just overall organization would be the best for that.
Then I'd say run an investigation check as you're using your intelligence to sort of see where like identify the major problems and organize from there.
I'm going to spend a superiority die.
Okay.
So that's 20.
Nice. You, once the scaffolding has been built,
let's make that a 25.
Nice. You lead the first team of individuals up it and start like clambering over the mountain that has become the rubble, and like you walk past, you see like broken beams of like that were once like roofing, until eventually you get probably 500 meters from where you were when you hear the subtle sounds of a cello playing from beneath some of the rubble to your northeast.
We investigate it, get a team up there and check.
There's enough of a break in some of the rubble that you see like the glow of a light. And like, yeah, and as you get closer, the sound of cello music coming from beneath the rubble.
Guess we started excavating, calling out, seeing who's there, if there is anybody.
You call out. You wait for a moment, and the cello music stops. And then you hear, "Hello!"
Okay. Hello. Yes. Just stay where you are. We're coming. Get people over. Start moving chunks of rubble.
You just hear, "Oh, thank the lights, finally!" And eventually, probably an hour of work and digging, you uncover a build as you start to move some of the harder bits of rubble. Give me, just as you're also muscling in, give me an athletics check.
21.
Okay. As you and your team and Zep bringing tools and other pulleys, etc., to use for leverage, start moving massive great boulders, you get to essentially what is the foundation level of what looks to be, from what you can sort of identify from the parts that are around, what used to be an inn. And as you move one stone, finally you see like the broken doorboards of a cellar, which you finally open up, and up whether you can see them before you get in because of the broken doorboards. But eventually you see there is a kind of thinning man, late 30s, made his own splint on his leg, and is just sat with a almost empty bag of apples and a cello.
Well, just start, I guess, start carrying him out of there.
Yeah, as soon as he sees you all, like, and he's kind of hobbled to, he's like, you grab him and he's just like, there's like a solitary tear that rolls down on his face where he just goes, I'm so sick of apples, but thank you.
I'm sure I would offer you something, but I don't think you would like what I eat. So we'll get you something.
I'm just happy to be out of that hole.
Here's some water. You probably want that.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
And you pull the man from the rubble.
Mm-hmm.
As you both continue your efforts, others haven't been so lucky. But you're doing what you can. We jump back to Sol and Breton, who you're making your way into the main cathedral, correct?
That was where we last heard we were going, yeah.
Okay. You head inside and there's much more of a hive of activity. You look into these various ornate rooms, etc., and they've all been turned into essentially barracks or meeting rooms or storage rooms for things that have been found. Like, you see that there's one church, the Church of Moradin, has been completely like turned into like a sorting house for furniture that's kind of like, is this reusable, is this not, can we quickly fix up a load of beds to send somewhere else, kind of thing. They're like, there's like furniture, things that have been recovered from wreckage that they're like, okay, we need furniture and we need stools, etc., for various rooms and stuff that we've got going on, so let's fix this up, add this bit of a bed to this bit of a bed, and we've now got an actual working bed, kind of thing, going on. But you essentially walk through until you get to what is essentially a walled line of paladins, like standing in a formation blocking an entire corridor.
Hello there.
They don't react. They're on sentry, their shields out, hands on a sword hilt, kind of.
Sure. Is there a possibility we could speak to who's in charge here?
You don't get a reply.
I have information regarding the attack.
Oh, for the love of all that is holy and decent. We're trying to help you fix this godforsaken city in the state that it's in. Are you going to let us in or not?
One of them turns their head to you. I understand that you're trying to help, but access beyond this point is strictly on a closed basis. Only individuals with the proper authority shall pass.
And I'm trying to talk to the people who might be able to access that.
They're busy at the moment. Besides, I'm sorry, but we don't know who you are.
Right.
If you really want to help, head out to the courtyard or head to the hospital.
Do they have a name?
I didn't give it to you. You didn't give it to them.
No, I said, does your person in charge have a name?
Oh, that was a question to them. Okay, sorry.
Yes. That was a question to them.
That sounded like a Beth to DM. Sorry.
No. That was a soul to guardsman number 422.
I think that was actually guardsman 423.
Ah, excuse me.
Tyon.
Anything more than that? Title, last name?
Grandmaster Tyon.
Okay. Excuse me for a second.
Soul's
going to cast sending.
All of the individuals in front of you as well, they were all in the same heraldry.
Yep. Soul is going to cast sending.
Okay.
Grandmaster Tyon, this is Anrayne Sunderstar. Or excuse me. Soul Sunderstar. I am outside. I have information about the attack and the seals of Elendor.
Give me...
Respond, if they so choose.
Give me an... intelligent... no, give me an Arcana check.
Sure.
Because this needs to be a creature you're familiar with.
I needed a name. That's why I did this. 12?
Name does not
fit familiarity. Yeah.
It's not just the phone number you need.
You haven't met this individual, so... yeah.
Never mind then, I don't do that.
You feel like the spell wouldn't... It's not enough.
This is why Ruby doesn't like the church, by the way. We're trying to help, and they seem stuck in the mud.
This isn't the church, this is bureaucracy, but I do understand your frustration.
Are they so distinguishable from another these days?
I don't know that that's fair.
To be fair, she doesn't care.
No,
a little bit of Ruby slipped through there.
Fine.
Just people doing their job.
Let them know that Breton Montilier and Soul Sunderstar, the Skyfire Adventuring Company, came by looking for a wood. If they can find it in their time, we would like a meeting at the post haste.
If I see them, I'll let them know.
All right. And Breton will just turn to Soul. We can be more useful than just standing around here.
Yes, I'm going to go to the cathedral itself.
You're in the cathedral.
Well, the shrines that were attacked, Brayla's and wherever Soul's going first.
Okay. You can't get to Brayla's cathedral, but you can, because that's actually further down the corridor in which they're blocking off. But like the offshoots you can go to are, so Moradin's being used as a major workshop. Funny. You can go to the large Palorian church that has now become the General Hospital, and there's also like a bit of the more, and then various of the other rooms have been turned into like just masses of people like resting, etc.
Oh, one last thing. She goes to the guards. Our skyship is arriving, delivering goods and services. Do you need anything?
The individual that was speaking just... The city needs much. We personally are fine. We have our orders. Yeah. Anyway. It's about this time as well that James and Valmir also reach the center of town. Should you so wish, you guys can group up.
Yeah, we'll spot them.
Sure. I'll have donated my potions of healing.
Yeah. So that's towards the cathedral. So
they won't let anybody speak to the Grand Master. They've got half the damn cathedral blocked off.
What, so he can be king of the rubble?
Probably to keep the prisoners secure, if I were to wager anything.
What prisoners?
Evidently, they managed to capture a few members that participated in the attack.
And have them secured in a way that they can't change out of their forms.
They captured the dragons?
That is what they told us.
It was not specific to dragons, but it was something evidently that can shape change.
We've sent in a word to speak to the Grand Master, but they are unavailable.
I think we need to get in there.
Let's not cause any problems. I think we can get past them faster with honey than vinegar.
Fair. It seems like we might be able to get some answers to some questions that we have then, relatively soon.
Perhaps. I think Darius would be the best one to navigate this bureaucracy. Doesn't he like doing that?
I mean...
He seems the kind of person who would be best at antagonizing a god, because all I do is get angry.
Whether he likes it is... That's a whole extra level of questioning. But, I mean... I wouldn't be too bad at it myself.
Let's not antagonize them. We're supposed to be helping these people. Hard to do that when being chased out of town because we failed in a visibility sneak.
Yeah.
No, to chase us out of town, they'd actually have to leave their post.
We also got wind of... It's not just looters. There's petty gangs forming and banditry.
When the cats are away.
When the cats are starving.
Wow.
If we can't find anything else useful to do, then I suppose at the very least we can go have a very civilized word with these cutthroats. Honestly, all this is putting me on edge in the first place.
I agree.
I'd be reluctant to call them cutthroats. They're just desperate people.
And so is everyone else here, but you don't see them resorting to banditry to get by. If all these people are finding a way to work together, why can't they?
I'm with Breton on this one. Offer them the opportunity to come back to civilization, otherwise I can't tolerate this kind of dissent. It's going to cause too many problems.
You wouldn't tolerate it during the best of times. Why should you tolerate it in the worst?
It might actually work out in our favor. We do some work for these people, gain some trust, and might be able to get access to this Grandmaster easier.
Later, the bandits bring him into the dungeons. The next cell over, oh, it's the dragons.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if some of this dissent was being caused by the dragons. Zaraj did say that she detected all sorts of entities in this city, celestial, fae, and undead, and dragon.
If they do in fact have dragons as prisoners, then we know what those detections were. At least what some of them were. If only we could get a number.
I believe I may have met the undead one. It's a good guy, though.
Just slow head turn.
Arr?
A good undead.
The rector's hands were very cold, let's put it that way.
It's
like James.
It's like -20 out, just as an FYI.
the kind of cold that...
In centigrade? Or Celsius? Jeez, that's fucking cold.
Yeah.
Also, she may have just been, sensing James here.
Yeah, that's like -4, and that's pretty freaking cold.
It's to use the term already said. You're in Russia in winter. It's like,
yeah, like I'm surprised even with heavy winter clothing, people aren't like fucking need to stay near a fire. Otherwise,
that's
we're
why
freezing
people
to death.
have it. Like that's why the guards were like that. It's also why a lot of the rescue efforts are kind of slowed because people chill quickly. You can't be out
on the ground in this kind of weather. You're gonna freeze to death very, very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The rescue efforts are going to be unsuccessful.
All right. Let's regroup and see what we can do about these brigands and cutthroats outside.
At the moment, I believe Zep is working on excavating. I saw him as I was walking over here. He was directing a large group to excavate one of the towers that had fallen, so I think he may be a bit...
It's a shame I can't twin cast sending to multiple people. I wish it worked like that. Can you?
Yeah.
Why can't you?
You can twin cast sending.
Yeah,
if you wanted to multi-message.
Just 2 creatures within range, right?
Yeah.
And sending's range is unlimited, so theoretically you could target any 2 people.
No, I'm. Or does it say there isn't touch or unlimited in the? No, it's only isn't self, so it's fine. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, then Soul twin cast sending because this is just handy.
And thus Soul Radio was established.
Skyfire, we found a way in potentially with these bureaucrats. We're gonna help deal with some brigands. Let's reconvene to the medical tents.
Medical tents is very vague.
Oh, the medical tent. Or the
Medical
command
HQ,
tent.
maybe.
Medical HQ, command HQ.
Center of town?
Sure. Let's convene at the center of town.
Okay.
And then she'll repeat it for James and Zaraj.
So
James is
here.
They're with Valma.
Okay. Sure.
I am too busy here, but Braun will come.
Zap. I didn't.
To be fair, their content was like hours of digging, so they're still doing what they're doing. But
This means that when we get to the actual
30 minutes later, Braun does show up.
We're gonna go to the command tent, I guess, and figure out what we could do about the looting and rioting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Probably best for last session, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So we'll close this session off with you rallying again, I'm guessing, back to Captain of the Guard.
Mm-hmm.
But as our party enter Athelia and the destruction that laid in the wake of the various attacks, we're going to leave this session here. And yes, all I've got to do left today is to thank the people who have joined me. I have been joined by the wonderful Beth Dillingham, to Commissar Roach, to Lord Lambert, to DM Lake, to Kinda Odder, to Mordred Viking, and to Ghibli Jam. I've been Midgeman. This has been the Component Cast with the Elendor Chronicles. And as a warning, as you may have noticed with this session, because the topic matter is going to be a little bit more somber than we've had in the past. So in this, with the next episodes, maybe expect some slightly harder topics. So anyway, I'll remind you at the beginning of the next time, but thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.